Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check, mic check. Did not take a look at my microphone, or even know if I'm using the right microphone at all. In fact, I haven't been on here for a while, so I haven't had a chance to, go through all those settings and everything else and all that. And I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a little while. And to the people who are here, you people that are here, my real people, I want to say thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. Obviously, I just put this on here right now. Why? Because I haven't been here for a while. And, I got to touch base with y'all, let you know I'm doing all right. Everything is good. Dexter's season ended bad for the Don. I mean, it was good in the beginning. I guess we got to show ourselves. Wait a second. There we go. All right. In case you're wondering exactly what's going on. So you know that Don is doing fine. All right. Now, I guess Dexter's season for Dexter didn't end well for the fact that I wasn't able to. I got sick and I wasn't able to do videos for the fight. Did videos the whole time. Every episode was great. And then all of a sudden at the end, it shit the bed. Terrible, terrible time to get sick. But what can you do about that? You can't do anything. All you can do is get better. And I am better. And what up to Tony right here for saying what up to me. So what up to you? You have a great name and never let anyone tell you different, brother. So the Don is back. I am back now that going on with this camera work, I don't understand that. Now that everything is good to go, and everything is the way it's supposed to be, we can now come back to regular live streams and everything else. And I think we start next Sunday with our pregame show for Dairy. And that will be what we are focusing on. We're going to run that while that's going on. And then we're going to see a couple other things what's going on and stuff like that. I know we had a couple of different things. We had the trailer for Dunkin' Egg and it popped off. And there's a couple of other things that popped off and everything. You know what I mean? But we'll figure out exactly how we're going to run it and what we are going to do when it is all said and done. It's so funny that this right here, the color is green, but it's turned it to this maroon-ish green. I guess that's better than see-through. But yeah, I didn't realize, but the color is really green. But the maroon look doesn't look bad. So doesn't have bad look and everything. Hopefully everybody is doing okay. Hopefully everybody has been well and everyone's family is good and all that good stuff. The Don cares about you. And hopefully everything is working itself out for you and everything. But yeah, I will be back next Sunday. We'll start the pregame show, and then we'll come back maybe the same night and do the after show. We'll see. I have to speak to Phil. I haven't even had, I've been busy. I haven't had a chance to speak to Phil. I haven't spoken to Phil in a very long time. You know what I mean? I haven't had a chance to even speak to the cat. So hopefully I have a chance to speak to him, and we can figure out everything else and all that good stuff and all that. Let's say what up to the people. A couple of people here. Here, and just for me putting this on, I appreciate you. Let's say hi to Tony JC. How have you been? So I've been very well. Thank you for asking. I've been very well. Again, at the end of Dexter, I got sick, but I've been doing much better. So I'm in a really good spot and everything else. So I appreciate that. We have Diane, who changed her name. And Diane, I would just have to say that I spoke to that person today. So you no longer have to contact. I've done that myself, but thank you for the effort that you put into it. I really appreciate it. And thank you for joining me live here on this live stream. I truly appreciate that too. Nonfiction is in the building, rocking. Is everybody here named Tony? Well, if they were lucky and born lucky, then everyone would be. You know what I mean? Everybody would be. And but not everyone's born that lucky. You know what I mean? Not everyone's born that lucky. Jen, what is going on with you? My man, 50 grand Mandrell is in the building, man. Good to see you also. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. OG, what up, Tony? Go vote. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Listen, man. I don't even want to get into any type of sports situation at all. What up, what up, Brody? Brandy, What up, Brandy Boo? How are you? Glad you are here. Again, yeah, as always, my phone line is always open. If you want to call in and say what up to the Don, you can. My phone line is open. I'm all that. Like that's right. Not everybody comes from Queens, New York. That's right. Only the select few get to come from Queens, New York. You know what I'm saying? Only this select few, and we just happen to be a part of that select few. So that is a good thing about it. You know what I mean? That is the way that's the way we rock, and that is the way we roll. I've been doing some interesting things, man. Interesting. Been through some interesting things, and this is an AMA, so you can ask me whatever you want, and I'm here. You know what I mean? If you got something to say, you got a question for me, I'll answer any question. Doesn't matter what it is, I'll answer it. But there, I've been doing some interesting things. I went to a midget burlesque show recently. I did. You may say, no, yes, I did. I went, and I can say midget burlesque because they were calling themselves midgets. So it's little people shit. That's what all came out there, man. And I had a good time. I had a good time there. You know what I mean? And these little midgets, they do their little dances and and everything else, and it's cool. I think that I had a great time, and I met some great people there. But they get a little rowdy. All right. They get a little rowdy up there. Like a couple of things in there that you can't do to the Don. You know what I'm saying? Like I won't even say it's not them, not the actress, not the burlesque dancers, not them. The goddamn crowd. The crowd lose their goddamn mind. Now the things they do or allow. I sound like Bill Cosby right there for a second. You heard it right there. The things they do. That's Bill Cosby. But the things they do or allow themselves to get done to them can never get done to the Don. Like, you can't have that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen men, full-grown men, get on their hands and knees and act like a midget woman was pumping them up the ass. Now listen, Don, to each his own. I'm not saying if you have desires or like everyone would have a good time. Like I was having a good time. That doesn't seem like a good time to me. It doesn't seem like a good time to me. Like that wouldn't be a fun time for me. Like if someone did that to me, it wouldn't be seem fun. Now maybe people, they have their own like, could I say maybe they have their own inner ambitions in life. Should I say they have their own things that they want to do, and maybe they unleash the beast at that time. Maybe that goes down like that. See, look, Brandy, we said I seen the picture. You said I was playing. I put the picture out there. Now, maybe you into these things. That's fine if you are. I ain't judging you. The Don would never judge. Do what you gotta do. You got one life to live, but that just ain't happening to the Don. It ain't happening to the Don. Not at all. But I will say that if you do have a chance, I think they're called the Micro Maidens, and they come to your area in town, show those ladies some love. Go out there and check them out. Tell them the Don sent you. You know what I mean? It was a good time. I had fun and I laughed a lot. I laughed a lot. Did the Don get a lap dance? You goddamn right I did. You goddamn right, with the biggest booty one of them all. Of course, you know how I do. Come on. They needed someone semi-attractive to give a lap to dance to compared to everybody else that was there. Somebody somewhere on the rank. They needed at least the Don. They needed a 5 here compared to everything else that was there. Right? I had to do something for them there. Oh, it is good seeing you too, all my cons. It is good seeing you. I am happy to see you. I'm happy to see all of you. Happy you're up there. Brandy Boo. Yeah, please show me the video. That never would happen. I promise you that. I promise you that. That would never happen. The Don don't go on all fours. Never in my life have I been in that position. Ever. That's not for me. My body don't work that way. Mikey P, what's going on? Good to see you. good to see you up in there. J Doe, good to see you. Good to see you in there. Patrick, good to see you. It's just forgot about New York. We got Alabama in the house too. Alabama, baby. Alabama. Shout out to Alabama. Got love for Alabama. Much love for Alabama. 100%. I sound like you were at Joffrey's wedding. Listen, seemed like it. It's crazy because they got that little tiny stripper pole. It's so cute. You know what I mean? It's such a small little cute stripper pole that they got, and it's spinning around a little tiny pole and everything. It's adorable. It's adorable. It's just adorable. I had a great time. That's all I can say. Mitch Harmon, what's going on? What's going on? But y'all go on my Instagram. I don't have a lot of Instagram subscribers because I don't really mess with Instagram. But you go follow me on Instagram, and you'll see all those pictures. Anything I get like that, I always post them on Instagram. So you can go on there and everything else. All right, next thing about the Donna. Donna's been working out a lot. Been working out. Been banging the weights out. Been banging them out. Maybe you can't tell right now. Maybe it's not apparent to you. Maybe looking at me like, Don, you ain't really been. I've been working out. All right, been working out hard. Hopefully by the summertime, it'll all pay off, and then I'll be able to expose everything. Hopefully by when From starts. That's the plan. I'll be all covered up like this until From starts, and then when I come out with From, you're like, oh, there. Where was that? Where that? But I've been working out, having a great time doing it too. You know what I mean? Doing everything you gotta do, taking the creatine, taking the amino acids, protein, high protein, and all that. We're back in. I fell off for probably 7 months. I ain't gonna lie, you know what I mean? But back at it. We ain't falling off ever again for the rest of our lives. We're doing this. We'll keep this rolling, and that's what it's gonna be. So we getting that popping. So we've been working on that. Everything's going good there, right there. You know what I mean? Been doing that, and Phil's got to just. I gotta get some consistent content coming out for y'all. And I had an idea with Phil, and we've never done it. So Phil we just need to record it. He needs to come on the show right now, and we can suss this out so we can just get this thing recorded and everything else. And then I'll have consistent content in between all these shows if we can just do these what I think that y'all will enjoy too. So I'll get that everything out. Peter Griffin is in the building right now. Say, hey, cheers, Teflon. Someone said you was away because you was on the From set finishing the shoot. Listen, I wish I was. I wish I was on that set. Because they don't want me on that set. You know that, man. Come on. Y'all know they don't want the Don on that damn set. All right? Because listen, put me on that set and see what happens. See what happens and stuff. All of a sudden, the cast members from would be pregnant. It'd be like they're doing interviews and there's like 5 pregnant ladies from And like, how did this happen? How did that happen now? No, I would love to go this plane, obviously. I would love to go. You know what I mean? I think that maybe, hopefully, me and Phil could find our way on the set at least one time before the season ends and stuff like that. Maybe we can definitely do something like that. I can guarantee that season 4 of From will be the craziest season for. Well, it has to be, right? I mean, it has to be. I would say when we deal with From, we look at season 1. Season 1 was amazing. No complaints there. Season 2, people didn't like it as much, the ending and everything else of it. And again, I think on season 3, I think people didn't like the ending of season 3. Now, I like the Man in Yellow ending, and I like the Jim Death ending, and I like all that. I just thought that the Fatima storyline just didn't go anywhere. I mean, they set it up so long for it to be something else. And for it just to be the rebirth of Smiley, to me, it just wasn't enough. They should have done more. Again, it seemed like they were getting back to what made season 1 successful. And that was the randomness that anyone could die at any time, and the threat of the monsters. And in season 2, the monsters were not a threat at all. All right. So it seemed like when they came back with season 3, so we're going to get back to this, that these monsters are a threat and that you need to be afraid of these monsters. Right. And it seemed like that they were going there. You know, they killed off Kenny's mom, Shane, beautiful lady. They miss seeing her on screen because of that. Yeah. But after that, no main cast members died. Like this is Father Khattri's, what I would say, is the only main cast member that's been taken out. They needed to take somebody out. I mean, yes, they took out Jim, and I guess he is a main cast member, but no one liked Jim anyway. All right, let's call it what it is. Nobody liked Jim. So no one gave a goddamn that they killed Jim. No one cared about that shit. Like, you needed Fatima to go. You needed Ellis to go. You need something like that, in all honesty, for it to have done something. So I would hope that in this season that they have redirected and that they have been able to get this right. You know, they talk to me. I hope not. You know what I mean? I know that their ego's too big to ever ask a YouTuber or what they feel like they should do. But you talk to me, I tell exactly how to run it, and I guarantee it. I make that shit the greatest season of From they ever did. I have it all in my head how it should run, and that's what it is, and everything else. Feel the issues, guys, in the building, rocking. He in the building, like on the show with me. He's in the comments. He could be on the show with me. It's all up to him and everything, you know. But he's in the building, and, except for Jim. But everyone wanted Jim to die. Phil, there's no nothing there. It's a big nothing burger. Jim died. I'm glad he died. I'm happy not to see him anymore. I'm glad he's out of here. But it just wasn't enough. Like, Ethan's got to go, or Julia, someone like that. You know, as much as I like seeing them, but in the end, someone's got to get got. These people got to go. You got to start taking these people out. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it's got to be. You know what I mean? I can't see it. What up, no contest? He said, I want to see Phil and Jim's shirt for Christmas. What shirt is this? A Jim face shirt? Phil rocking? That would be funny. That would be funny. He said, need a scarier monster. Well, they bring it in the Man in Yellow, right? So I think they're hoping that the Man in Yellow is that scary monster. He is that overlord of the monsters that actually makes it more interesting. But you got to think about the situation that they're in this show. They're trying so many tricks. They're doing time traveling. You got the monsters. It's a lot to juggle. And again, time traveling can be great, or it could be a crutch. It could be a crutch that when you fuck up, we're just going to use time travel to fix it. And that's when it sucks. I mean, Lost time traveling was shitty. Let's be honest. It didn't work there. It didn't work. So it all depends how they use it. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry. Nonfiction. Let me say the word properly. Story walking. It's kind of like Game of Thrones with Bran. And Bran doesn't time travel. His skin changes backwards. You can call it what you want to call it. It is what it always is. That's just what it is. It is great to see all of you here. It really is. It does my heart good to see you all here. And the fact that y'all still rocking with the Don. Y'all been on this thing for a very long time. And I've been gone for a long time. And people have abandoned me and stuff. And it's hard when you do a channel like mine who you cover different shows and not just one consistent show. You know, because in the beginning when I first started, the consistent show I was just going to do a Song of Ice and Fire content. You know what I mean? That's all I was going to do. I wasn't going to do anything but that. That was the plan. But in the end, it just, the community of that did not want to hear. I'm going to be honest. Just ask me anything. So I'm going to tell you the truth. They did not want to hear this I am not African, this black FBA man. They did not want to hear it from me. And it just was apparent. Because there were people parroting other things that I do, that I said a week after I would do them, and get hundreds of thousands of views for it. And that's just what the community was. Again, listen, when I'm on doing the panels, and I'm going to Con of Thrones, and every year I have to do a panel that's called "What's It Like Being a Person of Color in This Community?" And I'm the head of that panel, and I'm doing it every year. And every year you see a bunch of Black and Spanish and everyone else people in there telling horror stories about what they went through in the fandom, the names they got called, and everything else. It's just apparent that's what it is. Now, I know that some people who hear that may push back and say, you know, they may push back and say, oh, what about Quinn's ideas? All right. And I love Quinn. It's my motherfucking man. I love Quinn. Quinn didn't show himself. Everyone thought Quinn was white. All right. Everyone thought he was white. I knew he was black, and people knew he was black, but a lot of these, they all thought he was white. Because when he did a live stream and he finally showed himself, if you read the comments from that live stream, people are like, "Oh my God, you're black. You're really black." Okay. I thought you were a white college kid. All this shit they were putting out there, right? This is what it was. So that's what it is. And number two, besides that, so that's what that is. You know what I mean? And it's always gonna be a breakout. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always one. Like, they'll tell you, like in Hollywood, when you're in Hollywood, like there's always one black actor and there's always one black female actor that always break through, but the other ones never get that far. It's always what Quinn's gonna be the one. There's always gonna be a breakthrough. There's always gonna be everything like that. That's why, listen, and you see, there's a reason why Quinn don't cover this shit no more, because he experienced the same shit after he came out and people seen what he was. That's why he went right back to his love Dune and discovered that and left the Game of Thrones community behind. And the treatment he got when he was on the panels at the thing that the other YouTubers were giving him. They're treating him like ass and shit. You know what I mean? And that's just the facts. No one can say different, man. Everyone can say what they want, but I'm never gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? Listen, look at you, Tamara Davis. Look at you, girl. Look at you. You look amazing, Tony. Listen, let me tell you something, man. It may not be true what you say. It may not be, but I appreciate it. As a man who has been single going on what right now? 5 fucking years straight? 5 years. I think it's like 5 fucking years. I have been single for 5 years. I mean single for 5 years straight. It really feels good for someone to say that to me. And I really appreciate that, because, and I appreciate you. You know what I mean? Because 5 years is a long time. But it is what it is. We keep it moving and we keep going on. And life happens. And what's supposed to happen is supposed to happen. I always think like maybe I'm getting paid back for the things that I done when I was younger in my youth. I wasn't I'm a good man. I did some shit. And maybe that's the reason why now in my older age I have to suffer. But I had so much fun when I was younger. I'm cool with it. I wouldn't take it back for the world. So thank you so much for your comment. Thank you for joining me. I truly, truly appreciate it. 100%. You know what I mean? Q's voice is amazing. He has a great voice. That motherfucker, man. I wanted him to narrate my book, and I talked to him about it, and then he was like, "Yeah, Tone, I'm gonna get back to you on that. I'm definitely with it. I'll get back to you. I'm gonna pay him and all this." Never got back to me. Never. Never got back to me. Never got back to me. Not at all. But listen, book 2 is in the works right now. We've been working on that. So we'll get book 2 out and everything else. And we'll get that going soon. So Darkest Before the Dawn part 2 will be out hopefully by the spring of next year. Been chugging along with that. So, it is what it is. And we're going to get that thing popping and everything. What is that? He says, that's a badass watch, Tony. What is that? Thank you so much. This watch it's a Seiko watch. I don't know. I know there is a collection for this watch. Like this is the coffee one right here. But there is a collection for it. I don't know exactly the name of the collection, but it's a Seiko. So if you put Seiko coffee dial or something like that, then you'll see it and stuff. But that's what this is. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I love this watch. I love it. And I got a bunch of watches, but this is my favorite watch by sure, by far, and everything. Mikey P, you talked about the Night of the Seven Kings. I have not had a chance to talk about it yet. I'm interested in talking about it, and I will, and I should. I mean, it's weird, like when you're on YouTube, you feel like after stuff's been out a week that the fandom is gone for it, and they don't want to hear about it unless you're a part of that fandom consistently and you stay in there. Then the algorithm recognizes you. Like Shift Alt X or someone like that, Preston Jacobs, they could not do it. They don't have to do a video for 6 months, come back, trailer drop, do the trailer, and get 200,000 views because the algorithm's tuned to their channel for that content and knows who to hit for that. So I would like to. I think that Dunkin' Egg has a problem. I think there's major problems with it. I know everyone's hyped about it, and we'll talk about it when the series got. But I think that there's definitely something. Number one, it's only like 8 episodes. Each episode is a half an hour long. All right. So if you made if you watch Peacemaker, and Peacemaker was half hour, 8 episodes, half hour long. So you see, it didn't really work to me. A half hour long, 8 episode season to me is a no-go right then. There's so much content to get to. It does mean that there is no excuse for every episode not to be a banger. There should be no filler anything. You're doing 30 minutes. This is basically sitcom era, 80s, 90s, right? Like a Seinfeld episode you're doing of it. And only 8 of them, right? So what are you getting? 4 hours of television when it's all said and done. So there's a lot of stuff that they could put in there, but they better just get right to it. It better just be boom, 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 boom. And everything else like that. Nonfiction says that Gray Area made a comeback with it. Yeah, I spoke to Gray. I texted her. We text. And I asked her that she wanted to do a joint live stream with me and stuff. And she backed out. And backed out on me. It was like, well, when you want to do it? And I said, when you want to do it? And I never heard from her again. That was the end of it. That was the end of it. That was the end of the whole situation. Never contact me again. That was it. It was, when you want to do it? When you want to do it? God, that's it. It's been a week now. And that's just facts. You know what I mean? I love Gray. She's a busy woman, man. She worked a lot on her job and everything. I'm glad to see her back out there doing her thing. But like when it comes to me, and I'm sure she may feel this way too. It's just like there's some people who are out there and they putting Game of Thrones content out, and Song of Ice and Fire, and I applaud them. I've talked about all this shit. Everything that they've talked about, I've already talked about. I've already gave theories. I can't just rehash it. That's just not me. To me, that's just cheating the audience. And other people who can do that and people keep coming and watching, and why not? People keep watching. I commend you for doing it, but me, it's just boring to me. I can't do that. I just can't rehash shit that I've already done 9 years ago and already came up with, and people acting like shit is brand new. You know, it's just not for me. It's just not for the die. I can't do anything like that. Tamara says, I had to get out of a 15-year relationship. I couldn't make a pecan tree and apple pie. An apple tree. Apple pie. Well, can't make a pecan tree, apple pie either. I would say to you, sometimes the blessing is in the breakup, right? So, 15 years is a very long time. And you spent a tremendous amount of your life with this person. You did the best you could. And I would just say, remember it for the good times that you had and move on. And if that's what you feel you need to do, then move on. As you got a lot of life left to live, a lot of more things to show and to explore. And I'm sure that you're going to make someone really happy who truly appreciates you. And that is what that is. All right, we're going to keep going down. Peter Griffin says, shit, there are only 6 episodes of that. Yeah, 6? I thought it was 8. It's only 6. 6 half-an-hour episodes? What is that? What is that? What is that? There'll be YouTube videos that are longer than the episodes. Right? There'll be YouTube videos that are 20 minutes long and episodes 30 minutes. And all these YouTubers, it's funny, because all these YouTubers are like, I'm going to break down the Duck and Egg trailer. And then they tell you the whole story. From this season, from other seasons. I'll break that. That shit wasn't in the trailer. You just go in and you just say shit like, it's going to be a battle of the 7. And they showed a clip. You don't have to give everything away. See, that's something that I would not want to do. I would not want to give away everything, but they want to feel like they know something so bad. And like, I know this. I really know it. And I'm going to say it before anyone else does. And they want to do that, and they ruin the whole shit for anyone who hasn't fucking read it. And those people make me fucking sick to my motherfucking stomach. You know what I mean? Be honest about it. They make me sick to my stomach that they do that bullshit. And the reason why they're doing it, they're just doing it to try to show off and everything else. And they're giving away everything. You could do separate videos, not on the trailer, about those specific topics. And then talk about it then. But this is the way it goes. What's up, Phil?
Not much. The other thing that's weird or kind of interesting pushing up going on this is another thing that George hasn't finished.
Is that me or you, Cormac?
I think it's you.
Oh, let's take this, Phil.
From. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Wait a second. KP, what's going on, man?
Good evening.
Right,
good evening.
Let me see. 1 second, K. 1 second. Phil, can you turn your phone lines on? Is it possible? So
yeah, it'll just be a few minutes.
All right, so Kay, what I'm gonna do, we're gonna turn Phil's phone line on so that way he can hear you and you can respond to you too, because he deserves to speak to you too. So just call back in Phil's phone.
Yeah, I'll hang up and call back.
Give us 5 minutes to throw it up. Cool.
But yeah, what I was saying, Tony, the other thing that's kind of sneaky not talked about here is, yes, it's going to be, I'm less familiar with it than a lot of people, but Dunk and Egg is a cool story. I agree with you. We've gone from 30 episodes. I don't want to be old man in the snow here, but we've gone from like 30 episodes of hour episodes, like Star Trek Next Generation or all these things where we get like 25. Now we're getting six 30-minute episodes, like and we have to like act like we're getting like a big meal, but no. But anyways, beside that, just the quality of it, we're in another situation exactly like before. George hasn't finished these yet. So we're gonna end up having the show is gonna finish George's story. I'm sure he gave them an outline, Tony. You know, like he's got more novellas to finish. He hasn't finished Dunk and Egg yet. That's another thing hanging over all of this, that George has to fucking finish this before the show
100%.
catches up with him.
We know the ending, right? You know the Summer Hall
ending, but he hasn't written that yet, and he eventually will. And it's, you know, like, I don't know. That's all I'm saying, Tony. It's Groundhog's Day again with having to wait for this fucking book to come, like him to write more fucking novellas.
100%, and that's the way it is. You know, we're gonna deal with George not having it. He's supposed to do one, The She-Wolves of Winterfell, that was supposed to be released in Dangerous Women. Yep. Right, it was supposed to be released in that book. He didn't write that.
Nope.
And they released the same chapter that they had before, a little twist to it, and just added some things to it, and all of a sudden, you know what I mean. But in the end, that's where we're at here, and we're talking about 6 half-an-hour long episodes, right? 6 episodes, half an hour of fucking piece. You know what I mean? What are we getting here? A couple of hours, so it's basically like a movie that they cut up into half-an-hour episodes. And a movie does not survive on its own on a half-an-hour episodes. It would not be good. A lot of movies you could chop that, it wouldn't work, right? So there's no excuse for it not to be every episode banging. But with the storyline and the way the story is for it and everything, it's just impossible for it to be that much action. There's not a lot of action in The Dunk and Egg. It's a very plot-driven story, you know, so how can you do that and maintain people to come back every week and want to watch this half-an-hour show without that? Again, Peacemaker failed, I think, because of it this season, and the ending to was terrible.
It's just no one cares about. They've ruined DC so much that it's just too much over and over again. And James Gunn, as much as he's done a good job, I don't think that Superman movie hit as much as people wanted it to. So the excitement for that universe and the tie-in shit just didn't fucking work. And plus, I don't know, I'm tired of seeing his wife and everything. There's a lot of stuff with the James Gunn stuff, but that's a different story altogether. George, to me, Tony, is the problem, because again, George is like me in high school or junior high school or elementary school, not doing my homework. He always has an excuse. There's always an excuse. I didn't do my homework because of this reason. I didn't do my homework because of this reason. And I love George, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't want to see another thing ended by television people with the George outline. And I think that's a problem. That being said, this is where I slightly disagree with you. I think Dunk and Egg should have been the first spinoff, because I think it's so different in the narrow focus that they could have done on the two characters rather than trying to do another thing. I think House of Dragon sort of, it's good or bad for John Q listener or viewer, is a little like, so this is very narrow focus sort of story, less. But to your point, every episode, if they try to make every episode a banger crazy, what WTF happened in this episode, it's going to ruin the story. The story shouldn't be like that. It should be sort of like but I think in this world, in this climate for television right now, it might get lost a little bit. I don't know. I don't know.
I think when you deal with it and you deal with, first, let's take it twofold. First, let me talk about Peacemaker and James Gunn. The problem with James Gunn is that he had such success with Guardians of the Galaxy. He thinks everyone wants to see Guardian of the Galaxy style everything. So he made a Guardian of the Galaxy style Superman with some bullshit. Listen, let's look at this successful DC movies that came out. Batman, right? The Nolan Batman.
The Dark Knight series, yeah.
Right? They're very successful. And then you go into this new Batman that's just been released, and the Penguin thing. It's dark. That was their difference between Marvel and DC. DC gave you more darkness. They gave you more murder and stuff. And that's what comic books really are. If you really read the comics, they're very violent and all that. He made it too cartoony, too kiddish. Nothing I want to see. I don't want to see that shit. I'm not into that. I'm not into this little baby and Superman holding up one hand. Like, I'm not into this. I'm not into
drunk Supergirl showing up. Yeah.
She got the role because she was drunk on that one show, that Academy.
Yeah, they're
Awards.
like, we want drug Supergirl. But Tony, not to interrupt you, but I totally agree with you. It's like he's trying to shove Guardian, and I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's trying to shove that in everything. And I wasn't a big fan of the Snyderverse DC, but at least it was an alternative to the vibe of what they're trying to do. But at least lean into something else.
It worked though. The Snyderverse worked. Wonder Woman 1 worked. Number 2, they got too campy with it. They went too James Gunny with it, I would say. That's why it didn't work. The first Superman worked. It was a good movie. You know, they had it there.
Batman vs Superman sucked and Justice League sucked, but that's okay.
Yes, because they rushed it. They rushed to those things too quick.
Bad casting too.
Like it took Marvel years before they got to the Avengers. And they didn't want to wait that long.
Tony, I got to ask you a question because I don't know the answer. I know you're big into the superhero stuff. Like, used to play the Marvel role playing game. Like you have like good knowledge. Did you ever get into the animated DC universe shit? It's the stuff that was out in like the 90s, like Yeah, see that DC the movie should have copied that. Because the Batman animated series, the Superman animated series, Justice League, and Static Shock, and Batman Beyond, like all of that shit really worked. It was the perfect balance of dark and had the fun of the Marvels. Oh, it was almost like Marvel got influenced by that, Tony. Like Marvel looked at what they did with those shows, and they're like, we could do that with movies. And then DC ignored what they had done themselves in the past. So yeah, I never knew if you watch that stuff. To me, that's the best. DC
all
shit.
of the DC animation, all of them are great.
Yeah, the Superman and Batman especially. Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, the public Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, amazing.
Dude, yeah, that when the crossover when Batman has like he flips him and he's got the kryptonite on him and shit like that. Like that's how they should fight,
great.
you know.
And the Flashpoint paradox, amazing.
Batman, the Mask of the Phantasm movie. Yep.
And the first Wonder Woman was great. Why? Because it was realistic, and they went that route, and they worked with that route. They got away from that, and they need to go back. And if you want to deal with when dealing with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or DC, you need to stop making jokes. Not everyone is funny in real life. In this motherfucker, every superhero's got a fucking like when you have. I walked out of the last Storm. Walked the fuck out, and I'll tell you exactly when. Right.
Oh, Love and Thunder.
I walked right out, and it was when Thor. It was when Thor was like. There was like 2 rocket ships, one on each side. And then he did a split and was holding him back with his legs outside the side and just had his arms crossed like this. That was the end of it. As soon as I seen that shitty scene, I walked the fuck out the movie. Like, it's not about that. And again, that's that same type director who made the Ragnarok one, which was all right and made it a little bit funny. I didn't like all the jokes, but too funny. He wanted to go all out.
It worked in that script, though. And that's the problem. It worked. Ragnarok worked, so they just were like, oh, we can do this with everything. Like, like it's just fun. Funny works when it works for the right property. But what made early Marvel so good was you had movies like the Captain America movies, which had jokes, but they were treated as like serious thriller action pieces. Or the Iron Man movies had their jokes, but when it came down to it, at its best, it showed Tony's like dark.
Funny though. That's because that guy, because Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark is funny.
He's a humorous.
Not everyone is Tony Stark. Yep. Not everybody's funny. The Hulk doesn't have to have jokes. Thor doesn't have to have jokes. Not everyone has to have jokes. You know what I mean? One guy can be funny. I have a lot of friends. They ain't funny at all. I am, but they're not. And
Do you know who has to have jokes, Tony? Spider-Man has to have jokes. Nightwing has to have jokes because that's part of their fucking character. KP, I'm having audio problems. I'll figure out a second.
Deadpool needs jokes.
Yeah, right? Deadpool. Yeah. Spider-Man needs jokes. Those people that like the joking is part of their character.
100%. I agree with you on
Nightwing is another joke guy. Let's see.
Winter Soldier is one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. And there ain't no really jokes in that fucking movie at all. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. So that's how they get. So back to Dunk and Egg real quick. Dunk and Egg is supposed to be an A-Team, right? If you ever watch the A-Team or you watch Kung Fu, that's what Dunk and Egg is, right? The guy, they go from town to town, they solve a problem. But usually in the A Team, they do
Kung
it in
Fu.
a half an hour. Right? They were able to pull it off in a half an hour. Now you're going to pull off this problem in 6 episodes. If you took the A Team episode and stretched it to 6 episodes, it wouldn't work. It worked because it was a half an hour. Kung Fu, it worked because it was a half an hour. And that's it. And rest in peace, David Carradine, who strangled himself to death while jerking off because he was into that. So, and if you're into things like that, just take precautions. You didn't have to dive.
You need a spotter. Like if you're gonna do something like that, you need a spotter. Try again, KP. I think I fixed it.
Yeah, you don't need you got if you do things like that, you need to have something that you don't have to kill yourself for that nut. The nut ain't that important. That's not the way it goes.
Exactly, Vince Harper. Winter Soldier was cool because it was a spy espionage film that took itself serious, and that's what. And like you need to balance that out. The jokes work, but Tony's right. Like every Marvel movie and every superhero movie, in a sense, became a repeat of itself. Let's see, KP, do we have you? Oh, weird. The audio is coming from a weird direction. Like, sorry, KP. Give me one more second. Sorry, new computer. He's coming out of my computer speaker.
I'll tell you, Kelly Johnson, listen, man, they call me the can man, right? I don't care if you're Targaryen, Mexican, African, Jamaican, any man can get these hands if they come after it. That's why I'm a can man, goddammit. So it don't matter. You already know, man. You already know. You already know how it is, man. But I'm not like that anymore. I'm relaxed now. And let me say what up to Beef and Bernie. And I see my love LMR in the chat real quick earlier, and I didn't get a chance to shout out. So up LMR. I still have the lady in the Don on the thing right now because she's the last time she was on here. We had the Lady of Don podcast and we talked about Dexter and stuff. The final episode. We haven't really had a chance to talk about that, Phil. I don't think. Yeah, really break it down. The final episode. We did break it down. I mean, season as a whole. I mean, we could talk about it a little bit. Oh, I think we did somewhat, but we can talk about this a little hit and everything. Can Handyman get to man? No, Handyman. Never underestimate the power of the handicap. Candyman scares me. I wouldn't go nowhere near Handyman. Right? Go nowhere near him at all. Not at all. I might go near him and everything else. Not at all. You know what I mean? Anyone else like button not working, please hit the like button. We would appreciate it if you do. On the YouTube for the poster months. I hope you like the video. Hopefully, we just out here. I'm out here. I'm drinking what I would normally drink if I was in the bar, and that would be Blue Moon. That's what anytime I go out, I drink Blue Moon. And that's just what it is and stuff, So I'm acting like I'm out and about. And I'm hanging out with y'all like old times, like COVID times. We ain't getting back to that. COVID times fucked me up. I went up 230 pounds during COVID. Fuck that. Never going back to that. COVID fucked me up. Now 230 I was. Now the Don is a nice trim 185 pounds.
Okay, I think I fixed it, KP. You're welcome, Carl. Yeah, this feels almost after dark, Tony. Like let's
I'll put if I put the videos up of the micro maidens, it would be an after dark thing. I have video of it too.
Here we go. KP, sorry about that, KP. I was getting the audio set. What's going on, buddy?
Are you hearing me all right now?
Yep, we got you.
Listen, KP, you fronted on me. You told me about this white honey. I got nothing, bro. What the fuck, bro?
Listen. We'll talk about that offline. But I'm sorting you up. Don't worry about it. We talk about that offline. But I want to keep on the next thing because I just kind of call to let you know why. So Tony, Phil, chat. This is why I'm mad. Yo, that book is a good trip to Miami, read it in the plain book. You know what I mean? Like Duncan Egg. It's a nice, easy, simple read. 150 pages max, depending on what kind of which print you got. You know what I mean? So, and so it's a, I mean, it's a couple of novellas, well, two, but they both work as standalone stories, kind of. So it's very, very good, right? And my question is, like, if they are trying to turn this into some weird, 30-minute dark sitcom comedy thing, I'm going to be very, very angry, because we are supposed, like, they're supposed. To me, the Game of Thrones or also Ice and Fire humor is the regular humor that we have in life, right? So, like, I remember I spent some, we have military service here. I did my military service. We had practice war games or whatever, and being in the Congo trenches with your batch and all that counted for something, right? But like, while you're in the trenches doing, preparing for your own mock battle, somebody's making jokes at somebody. You know what I mean? Like, jokes are happening. So like, the jokes, and point being, the jokes in Game of Thrones were very real world type of jokes that people in those situations would probably make. Are you guys with me, Tony, Phil? Am I making sense?
I hear what you're saying, and yes, that people do make jokes, but not all jokes are funny.
That's what I'm getting to. That's what I'm getting. It's like, the jokes in Game of Thrones were fine, and there were even some jokes in Game of Thrones where that somebody said a joke, it didn't hit, and like, that was the joke. You know what I mean? But to me, Duncan has even more jokes, and it has at least in the short term. Like, if you just read the novellas contained in themselves, the stakes are relatively low compared to, like, the full A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, 6 books or whatever. So it'll be easy to make this a funny ha-ha thing. I would like to see them do it. Yes, let's have the jokes. Fantastic. But if we get jokes at the expense of characters, at the expense of plot line, the expense of story, and at the expense of, like, cool shit that we want to see, like all of the stuff with the Blackfire Rebellion, all of that is something. All of that will take more than 4 hours to show. You know what I mean? If they were really gonna do that, all of the Blackfire stuff, just the stuff that's written down, not the stuff that's still, like, is still pending, and just the stuff in the books that you're gonna need more than 4 hours to put that together with Blood Raven, setting arrows, killing all these boys, sure, and all this. So that's one point I have. I hope that they don't bastardize it by just making it a dark comedy kind of thing and about it, because it is funny, but it leads to a very serious place, and it leads to very serious and significant.
I don't think it's funny. In all honesty, I love George R. R. Martin and everything else, but I don't think he's a comedy writer. I don't think the jokes land. I don't think it's funny. I think his best thing. I think his best thing is development of characters and storyline, not jokes. He's not making no comment. I don't want to see any jokes in Duncan Egg. I don't want to see not one fucking joke. It's not like
every time Dunk taps Egg on the head, that's gonna be a joke, right? And
that's not a joke. That's child abuse. They're not gonna do that, because that's child abuse. And I guarantee he doesn't hit him one time.
They don't do that anymore.
They're not doing it. There's no way they're gonna do it. There's no way they're gonna have it. Listen, I'll put you like this. All right, let me put you like this, KP. Let me put you like this. All right. That's taken from 2 places. There's two places with it, right? You go with it, right? You don't have him because he actually hits Egg in the books. They're not gonna do that. You want to go Jackie Gleason with it? You want to go one of these days, Alice, one of these days, and put his fist, that's the only way they can do it.
That's exactly how they're gonna do. That's exactly how they're gonna do it, Tony. They're gonna do it totally Jackie Gleason, Lucy Desi style.
Yeah, you want to do bang zoom to the moon. You want to do that, and the threat of it. That's it. But even nowadays, if people look back at the honeymooners and they see Jackie Gleason do that, even though it was apparent that Alice was not afraid at all of fucking him, and she looked him in the face like, yeah, you wish you would. You know what I mean? People would still complain. We're living in a very age that people are very soft, thin-skinned.
I get it. I mean, I think like the old top in the air would happen when, like, Dunk is talking to some real serious guy about some serious thing, and Ed makes a weird comment, and then the serious guy turns around and starts to walk off, and Dunk, side eyes him and goes there, walks from behind him and just kind of touches somebody on the back of his, like, you little idiot. That, like, but I like that, but they don't have to put that in. Fine, no problem. But what I don't want to see is it becoming just a comedy series, a slapstick comedy series about this cool, interesting family that used to have drama in it. And now they rule this kingdom called Westeros. And they have a brother called this, and they have another brother called that. And Arian Brightfield, he's so crazy. Like, I don't want that. I don't want to, we'll see how they take it. But, like, I'm hoping that they give us 6 proper, like, in each 30-minute block, they give us a good 3, 4, 5, 6 chapters in that block, concise, powerful. You get straight, like, and the thought, and if they take Jesus Christ out of their thoughts and they do these tyranny scenes, like minus the goal, or they just say, Dunk is about to go and fight, in the tournament with such and such, and then fade to black, and then back again. You just see aftermath, and you see Dunk. You see Dunk in a hospital stuff like that. That's the end. You tell me. Yeah, I get. All right. So you guys tell me, what else is that you need to see in this Dunk and Egg episode for it to pass this process? Do some of these things I do.
All right. KP, we love you. We're gonna have to go on the call. I'll answer all this stuff that you have said right now. I appreciate you, brother. Listen. I would have to say this.
I love you, KP.
When it comes down to Dunk and Egg in this show, and this is an Ask Me Anything thing, which means you can ask me any question you want. Don't be shy, all right? You can ask me whatever you want. I will answer it. Again, it should work. It's set up to work. Half an hour episode, 6 episodes, to me, does not make me feel confident in the show. Doesn't make me feel like they are confident in the show. And that's why they're doing it as thinly as possible.
Would you say you share KP's concern about not wanting to see it be too? So you were saying you don't want too much comedy at all?
No, I don't want any comedy. I mean,
so is it already too much in the trailer with like the snot rocket for you?
Yeah, like it's come on, yes. Like what do you like? When you're doing that just for that effect. You know what I mean? And it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. Now, obviously, people do that in life, and I can understand, but you're doing it for that effect. That does not work for me. Just do the show the way the books are written, and that's it. But don't try to oversell it.
They kind of did to the fear aspect that people like KP or might be feeling on that note. They definitely did stop the trailer to do a snot joke. Like they paused it and it was like like I don't even. I'm sorry, people that are audio, but and I'm not saying I didn't like that stuff. I'm just saying they made a point to sort of slow down the trailer just to make an extended snot rocket joke.
Yeah, 100%, and no sense. There's no need. It's like, to me, you're not selling. Like, the trailer to me didn't sell me on the story that they're trying to tell. Like, it doesn't sell the full story of here's a guy whose knight died, and he picks up a Targaryen who is in there to find out exactly how the common man lives and is following him around. Like, that was not portrayed in that trailer.
Tony, no, it wasn't real. I mean, it was more of like a highlight reel kind of trailer. My problem, and what I don't want to see, Tony, and this is a question I have, do you think we're going to see crap like this? Are we going to see that fucking dagger? Are they going to find a way to put the dagger in the thing, and connect it all? Are we going to they're going to give Bloodraven a bigger part to connect it into a deeper thing, so they can tie it into the visions of is Egg going to have visions that tie into Rhaenyra or some shit like that? Like, are they going to do that shit? Sorry.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Oh.
And I'll just say thank you for the Cash App from my man Fernandez T. $25 to the Cash App he just sent me. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate you. I appreciate this. This is not monetized, this video, at all. So I appreciate any dough. And we haven't made any dough on the channel for a little bit. So I appreciate you. And if you want to send to the Cash App, anyone want to send me something to the Cash App rather than YouTube so I get the whole thing, let me know. And I'll put the Cash App thing in there for you and stuff and all that. So you don't have to just do it on the YouTube and stuff and everything else. But I would just say,
like, are we going to see that dagger? Are they going to see that? Or we're going to see the dagger sometime?
I guarantee that dagger is in this fucking thing on Bloodraven's fucking hip. They'll have it there. Guaranteed they do that.
What a lovely dagger! What a lovely dagger you have, Bloodraven. You know.
It's just. I hope the best. I really do. I hope the best, and it can really be done great.
Yep.
It's just, we'll see. When I see it, I am not good about the half-an-hour episodes. To me, it seems like you're afraid of something. You're having these half-an-hour episodes because you can't do an hour episode.
Is that confirmed? Is that confirmed?
You ain't got enough content to do that. Then how good? Because I don't get it. Like I said, when I watched Peacemaker, it was half-an-hour episodes. That's the only thing I can compare it to right now. Because that's, and I can't compare it to a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, like Curb Your Enthusiasm, 30 minutes. But even those stretch, is it going to be like some episodes? Mandalorians were like 30 episodes, 30-minute episodes. Like the first season were like 30, 45-minute episodes. Does that mean some episodes might be 43 minutes, Tony? Or are they going to just stick to like some episodes are going to be 28 minutes?
At the end of the season, they'll do an extended episode.
But if that means one or two episodes are going to be like 26, you're going to look in the amount of time in the episode, 26 minutes, because 10 of those minutes are going to be the after episode discussion with the writers. That I blame Dan and Dave that every writer, show creator has to fucking do that now. That after the episode airs, we have to hear show creator A and B talk about their process. Can't we just watch shit and think for ourselves a little bit, Tony?
No one needs to hear your creative process and why.
Just like you say, not everyone's funny. Not every creator offers careful insight into their process.
Yeah, and you know what it feels like to me, Phil, and be honest. Just think about it like this. If maybe some of y'all like the inside the episode, right? Maybe some of y'all like it and everything. You're like, I need to. Let me explain to you what it's like. It's like this.
It's like they're holding them at gunpoint, being like, you have to do this.
It's like you had sex with a woman, or whatever you have sex with. That's on you. But I have to only go by with the Donda. You're having sex with a woman, and then at the end, when you're done, you just sit at the bed, and then you explain to her exactly why you did every maneuver you did.
Yeah.
That's what it is. If you made the woman come and you did a good job, you ain't got to explain shit. And this, to me, is why they do it. because they're not sure that everybody picked up on what they were putting down, so they have to explain why they did certain things. If you're putting down the pipe and you're laying it down, there ain't no explanation needed. You can't say, well, girl, I was just trying to, I was experimenting a little bit with that knuckle in there, you know what I mean? You ain't got to do that shit. If you're sitting there and her legs look like Jimmy the Cricket, you ain't got to explain shit. You just got to walk your ass to the shower. And that is the problem with these inside the goddamn episode. It just seems they're trying to explain stuff because motherfuckers ain't sure if the audience busted or not from it.
Exactly. And sniff each other's farts afterwards about it, and look what we did here, and look what we did there, and make sure everyone gets every clever little thing. But you're absolutely right, Tony. It's like, we at the end of our show, even like we'd be able to do a less specific and less awesome comparison. But like, wasn't that awesome the way that we did that thing right there at the beginning of the show? Isn't it great the way Tony talked about From earlier and about being on the show? He was hilarious there. Great, yeah. That was great the way he talked to you guys and grabbed the thing. We don't need to tell you that. Either you like it or you don't like it sometimes. Maybe after the fact, years later, it feels good to have, Sam Simon or David Chase or Vince Gilligan sit down and talk about The Wire, The Sopranos, or Breaking Bad, or Better Call Saul, explain their process a little bit 20 years after the fact and get into it. But we don't need it immediately afterwards. Like, let it sit inside you and create your own fucking individualistic thought about what happened.
The reason why they do it is because they're not sure that it hit all the way, so they have to give you the cliff notes.
Good, right? Tony. If you're not sure and it doesn't hit, then you didn't make good television or a good movie. Then make better content. Like, that's the point. Like, let the people decide that. Don't just tell them. Don't try to homogenize the audience and make the audience think the exact same thing. That doesn't inspire theory crafting. That doesn't inspire people getting into things. All it does is make people go, see, you got what I was trying to do. If I write a song, you were a songwriter too. Like, if you write a song, do you want people to know exactly what you thought? No, you want people to listen and have their own interpretation of the words and shit. You don't want them to know, oh, Tony was talking about I was talking about my ex-girlfriend in junior high school in that song. No one gives a shit. Like, fuck. Sorry, I'm babbling, but
no, you're 100% correct. Listen, if you ever have sex with a woman and then after you're laying there and you say, was it good for you? You know it wasn't good for her. You know it. When you say those words that the Don has never uttered, and you say, was that good for you? You know it wasn't good for her. That's why you know it. You just trying to say something to make her say, oh, yes, it was. So you feel, but you know you shit the bed, all right? You know you did. That's why you're asking the question. And this is what these fools are doing when they do these after the episode shit. I don't need none of that bullshit or anything else like that. You know what I mean? For Amelia, my friend, anytime, Big Nut Love, we are good with the right now it's AMA. So if you want to talk From, just ask me a question about From, then we'll go into a whole rant about it. I'm about it. But we'll get this streams going soon. If you just want to do streams and just talk about it, I'm about it. You know what I mean? But this, all you gotta do is
basically, as soon as there's a trailer, we'll be out doing it. And the other thing about those things, Tony, just before we switch the subject, is it seems like every show creator now, it's in their contract for doing the series that they have to do it. So it's not even people that want to do it or they want to talk about their process. It's like the networks make them do it. Like they're sitting there with a gun on the other side of the camera. Like, you got to fucking do this. You got to fucking do it. Like, it's ridiculous.
You know it, Vince. You know it, goddamn. I don't ask shit. I ain't gotta ask nothing. I don't gotta ask nothing at all. I ain't gotta say shit. And that's all. And that's the way it is.
I have to squint my brain to remember.
Y'all may be like, I'm just giving you a metaphor that's easy that everyone's been in this experience, so you can understand what they're really trying to do. And I know you may think that they're trying to give you some bonus content that makes it, but that is what it is in reality. That's what it is. And I'm telling you, that's why they do that. and shows who are great, like The Wire, Sopranos. You never see no bullshit like that because you know you got what you got when you watch that episode.
Yeah, you basically had a clawed out of those guys, and I do feel like this is another thing that we can blame on Dan and Dave, because they were the first ones I remember doing this shit. Like they had to rationalize all the yada yada they did in those final seasons of Game of Thrones. Like, yeah, this person got over here, so they did those things. Now everyone's like, oh yeah, everyone should do those. I don't know, maybe someone else did it before them, but they're the first dickbags I remember doing those things.
Yeah, 100% they are, because they're the ones who, listen. Is it groundbreaking? Yes. Have people copied them? Yes. So I give them props for coming up with something like that. But it is what it is. It's you're not confident in your work and you're trying to explain your work to them. When you have an artist who puts out a painting, that artist puts that painting out. They don't explain it. They let everybody look at it. Everyone make their own interpretations by it. And then later on, if you get a chance to meet the artist or something, then he'll give you his insight.
Exactly. The last questions and shit like that in those situations. It's awful. Do you know what was a better version of that was DVD commentaries? Because at least it was more laid back. Like they were sitting back and kind of watching, and they were just basically doing a podcast while they were watching their show. So it was a little bit more chill and less fabricated. So if you want to do something like that, then after the season and off seasons, release commentaries of the directors talking that you can get on the streaming service. We're going to pay all this extra prices for streaming services. Give us some of the extra content we got on DVDs and Blu-rays with commentaries and stuff. Like add that shit to HBO in the off season. Get us, people doing commentary on their shows. So I don't know, maybe that would be better.
In Glue Guns N' Roses, I used to like Talking Dead, but not the show, right? So I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say they stole the idea from Phil for the Talking Dead.
I was just about to say that.
Phil actually submitted the idea
to
them.
Did. Joe and I called live on the air and said we should be doing an after show, and the next year they put on the Talking Dead. I'm not saying they copied us, but whatever, fuck you.
They did. They stole your idea. You contacted them to do the Talking Dead.
It's on the air too.
And then they fucking went and did it without you. That's the bottom line. They stole your whole property, so fuck the Talking Dead, all right? Because they stole that from our boy Phil.
Points.
That was no idea. And everything else. And
they were afraid of Joe. But it's hilarious. We actually did call AMC live on the air and left them a voicemail. It's pretty awful. AMC owes us money, motherfucker. They do.
Yeah, they definitely owe you some fucking money. This fucking bastards for that, and they get some bullshit guy to do it. So you know what I mean? Some.
Yeah, and in fairness, the early Talking Dead, they at least would criticize the show. By the end, it turned into a wash job. The problem with all that stuff, and even we talk to the Tony talks to the cast. We have the cast on here. We're friends with them. Like we love them, but we'll still call out things that we don't like about the show, that things that are sort of whatever. You can never get to a point where you're just ball washing something unless they're paying your paycheck. But Chris Hardwick makes enough money in other places too. He didn't need to take that, but he could have done his own thing. It's not like if Tony I got hired by HBO to go cover some piece of shit show that they did, we'll pretend to like it. Pay us.
Yes. You gotta pay me some money for that shit.
Yeah. Give us a salary.
The bottom line is this. I love Fro. I love it. Listen, a lot of people could talk. I was one of the first motherfuckers covering this show. All these other motherfuckers covering this show, a lot of them jumped on the bad one. And I appreciate a lot. A lot of people watch my shit and started their channels because they watch my stuff. And I'm so happy that people have done things like that, that I inspired people to get out there. And because everyone has their own opinion. I don't have every opinion. And I don't see everything. And there's so many people have seen so many things that I didn't see. And I'm so happy about it that they have. So let me make that abundantly clear. And people have started their own friendships and fandoms, and they're cool with each other because of it. I love that point. But what I'm trying to say is, as much as I love it, I love my mother. I love my mom. She's my mom. I love her. But as much as I love my mother, I will tell her when she's wrong to her face. If I got, now you can't say it. All right? You can't say nothing about my mother, goddammit. I will say that shit. All right? But you can think of it, you can't say it. I love it. But I gotta call it where I see it. If they're doing something wrong and I think they can fix it, it is I just have no choice because I want them to do it so good. I want this to be the greatest show that ever was on television. I want this to be the best it could ever be. And I'm never doing it in a place of malice. I'm doing it in a place of love, that I want this just to be so good that I see if they're fumbling the bag, I can see it and try it. Maybe I could say something to you before the big fumble comes and everything else. You know what I mean? So I always will do things like that. And that's just the way it is. So it never is anything that
the only show that I ever got to that point with was The Walking Dead, because, and even the way they ended and then just did spinoffs. But I think the only criticism that we can consistently get is they haven't ended seasons tremendously well. The first season was really well, but the second two seasons started out with interesting concepts, but I feel like dropped the ball to a certain extent. If we're getting into season 3, we're talking about this a little bit as I was setting up. I think it was just the allotment of time of stuff, too much focus on Fatima. And as much as it was cool to see Smiley come back, the way it was shot and the way it was done, it looked like he had a plastic condom on. Like the effect kind of looked a little poor. He looked like he was taking off a big giant plastic, like Frank Drebin in the Naked Gun movie, like the full body condom.
Yeah. It just, when it came down to it, and you look at the Fatima storyline, in the end, when she gives birth to this egg sac that becomes the Smiley monster.
Wait, what'd you say again? What would you call it?
The bloody jelly bean that became the Smile Monster. It just wasn't an effective way to do it. It wasn't effective if you wanted to bring him back. And I understand you had the picture on the wall, and you wanted to do something with the picture on the wall, and you wanted to all make sense. You should have spun that a different way. Even though you had that there, you should have seen that people were going to not want that and went a different direction and made that picture on the wall mean something other than what it was and everything else. I'm just thinking right now, like Fatima, she's pregnant, she's everything. What does she give birth to, or what's going to happen if she actually gives birth or anything like that? It could have just been, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like how they could have done it better. And I wouldn't have made her give birth at all when it's all said and done. I would have just made her become one of the monsters.
That would have been more interesting. And I also think, and I don't know what you think, Tony, if you agree with me, the whole thing with Smiley too, and I love Smiley. We talked to him. He's a great dude, iconic character. It almost seems like the show, this doesn't make sense to me because they put him on all the merchandise and shit, that they didn't, was their plan always to bring him back? If it was, it's kind of weird in the way it was done. It seems like more like they let him go and then they realized people wanted Smiley back because he was so iconic with the show and they needed to find a way to bring him back. And they put him in that situation just to bring him back into the story, which is fine. But it seemed like that was sort of obvious. I don't know what you think. Do you think if they were going to keep Smiley going, do you think there's some plot reason they did that? That's going to be evident later, that it made him more powerful or something, or is it just sort of?
I just think that these people have immortality, and this is their immortality.
Okay,
but, what they should have stressed is that he's the first one who ever died, because it just seemed like they were very shocked, the monsters, about it, and all this watching the rebirth. No one needed to see bloody Smiley ass. No one asked for that. No one asked for it. No one asked to see it. No one wants to see it. That this wasn't a good moment for the show. Like, there's no one ever going to say this is an iconic moment, seeing bloody Smiley ass. No one want to see that. What people want to see in the show is these town people on serious threat of these monsters. They should have focused more on that small town. Now, maybe they're going to come back to the town and they're going to do something at that town. But when you have something out there, something's knocking outside on the door, and then you don't show it. If you want to say this is some Julie shit, which most likely it is, and you want to explain it that way, that's the only way it works. But I think when people see it, they're not going to be happy with it. You know, they're not going to be happy with that at all. They're gonna, you have to get to the nitty gritty a little bit earlier than they did with the whole situation. And I think that is where they have fell off a little bit. I would have turned Fatima into a monster or into the kimono lady and had her character there, and then had her coming out with the monsters to chase them, and have Ellis have that dilemma that no, she's still in there. It's really her still in there. And then Boyd tried to say, she's gone. She's not that anymore. And then have her come up there like porn stash and try to seduce Ellis and all that.
That's more real that's more real drama, Tony. And it's like
that's what out of it. Now, y'all just heard me. I just made that up.
Did they
On
just
the
make
spot.
the monster look
Right.
like
That's
Fatima?
better than what they put out. I don't care what they say.
Did they just
Yeah,
make the monster look like Fatima by accident? Like, or is it because if not, then that's kind of weird because to your point, like I thought they were going to turn her into that monster too because she looks because they styled it the monster, that creature, like Fatima. Was that just not like by accident? Is there no relevance to that?
It can't be by accident. And then if you wanted to go in the end somehow, Fatima in the end gets turned back to normal and all that, and you go that route. But if you have her as a threat, and now you have people don't want to hurt her because they still see her face and she talks like them and she's smiling, and you have Fatima outside the door smiling at everybody and everyone knows and loves her, that's a better show. That's a better show. Now you have some more stuff going in there. You have a much better show right now. You have something else you're working with. And that's where you keep it moving, especially if you're only doing 5 seasons. It's easy to go that route.
Ooh.
But instead, you're just going to have her lay an egg and Smile Monster comes out. No one give a fuck about that.
But Baby Smile Monster. But Baby Smile. Speaking of shows ending, Tony, just to transition this a little bit, we can come back to From. But ask me anything, I'll ask you. Have you heard that Yellow Jackets is ending? They announced this next season is the final season of Yellow Jackets. How do you? I think that's good. I think it makes sense that the final season would be the last.
Yeah, it needs to end. It needs to. I mean, I didn't expect. You know, the girls are there. They said they want maybe do a little thing with them young back in the town. But once they get rescued, the show is over. So no need to drag it off. No need to see them as young people back in the thing. I only want to see those girls in the wilderness. I don't want to see them when they come back. I don't want to see them there. I just want to see them in the wilderness doing wilderness shit. And if they're not doing wilderness shit, then I don't need to see them and everything else. I enjoyed it. I liked the show for what it was, and I'll be happy to see it end. And hopefully it ends with a bang and stuff. But that was the whole separation of everything else. That's the way it should be. You're exactly right.
I'm glad that they're ending it. It's a good time to end the story with everything that they've led it up to. So it's the time. Exactly. AK Views and China, 100% agree, Tony. It's the perfect time to sort of put a bow on that particular story.
If you had those chicks come back and now they're young in the town to the older ladies in the town, that's not what it was. It's about the wilderness. It's about them being out there. And once that's over, this show is over. I don't need to see them out there anymore. I don't need to see anything at all. In the end, I think the ending is predictable. I mean, just Shauna has to get her comeuppance, and that's what it comes down to in the end. And it's just basically how Shauna is going to get her comeuppance, and that's it. You know what I mean? We have an actual question here. This is Ask Me Anything, and no one's asked me anything.
I was going to ask you if you ended up watching. I know not to cover it, but ask you if you ended up watching Task or.
I have not watched that. I'm scared to watch it because I've been so busy that I haven't had the chance to sit down and actually absorb a show. And I know that
this week is the last week, so just you can take it all in one shot.
Yeah, I'm watching shows that I'm dozing off watching. Football season, of Yankees playing and everything. It was all a lot of going on. You know what I mean? So I didn't have a chance to sit there and absorb a show and anything like that. But now I'll be able to do that and stuff. Sonic your boy said, would teenage Tony and Phil last long in the wilderness with the Yellow Jackets? Yes, I would have had sex with every one of them. It's not hard to survive as the only male with a bunch of women. I don't know. You know, this guy they got up in there and all that. These dudes are not men like the way me and Phil would be. Listen, I'm slaying everyone. I'm sitting on the throne, and that's just about. Especially if they're taking acid. No, on acid, it's just shit. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Are you? I'll sit on the throne, butt naked, my dick hanging out, and that would just be it. Every day, these chicks would be feeding me. And that would just be the way every Yellow Jacket would have came back with something in their belly. Every one of them. They were like, we found them, and they've all pregnant. Every one of them. It would not be hard for me.
Yeah, I know what I'd be having for dinner every night, Tony. I know what I'd be every night for dinner. I know I know how to survive. I'd make my way in the world today.
Yeah, these people, they don't have no chance. They have no chance. They don't know what they're doing. Are you crazy? It's the Don you're talking about here. Put me in a room on an island with a bunch of women and make them all feel good about themselves. Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can do it.
In the world today. It takes everything.
Yeah, I can do it, man. Pretty easily. I ain't gonna lie about it. It would be a whole different. They wouldn't be chasing me, trying to kill me. They'd need me. I'd be a necessity, and that's the way you have to do it and everything else. So I don't know. The guys they got in there, it just wasn't so good. Invasion is so good. I will say this about Invasion. I did cover it in season 1, like halfway through the season, and I stopped. It has gotten so much better. They sped everything up. It's still a slow show, but it's not as slow as it was. Season 1 was a crawl. It was way too slow. But some of this stuff is just, it just doesn't work for me. Like now I'm forgetting the guy's name, the black dude who's like he's sitting there and he's like, I killed Casper. I killed Casper. And like, you did what? What? Tell them the whole story of why you killed Casper. Tell them that Casper was possessed by the aliens and tried to kill you, and you had no choice but to kill him. Why are you only going to tell that one thing? I killed Casper. But you're not telling exactly why you killed Casper, right? Like that to me, like, pisses me off. Like, don't give them the quarter story. I killed Casper. You did, yeah. Tread. Thank you very much, Trayvon. You know what I mean? Tell the whole shit, motherfucker. So yeah, he tried to kill me like these guys did to us when we were in the tent and they got possessed. He had the same look in his eye, and that is what happened, and that's why I had no choice but to kill him. But don't say it like, oh, I killed Casper, like you murdered him. Like that's the way you're making it seem and shit. You know, so things like that I don't like about the show, but overall, it's been a very entertaining season about it. So I cannot say anything bad about it at all. I guess I did, but I have enjoyed this season. And you got the chick from Living Single up in there, and she's getting some work now. So it's about time she started getting some goddamn work and stuff. So I love seeing her up in there. Let me say what up to AK Watts. I seen her in the chat for a second. Christy of Old Stones, another person from Queens, New York, up in the building, rocking with us up in this piece. You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody being out here and me just basically turning the camera on and not giving any alerts about anything and just saying, you know, come on here and say what up to everybody and all that stuff, and y'all actually here rocking with us. So I appreciate that one. So next week we'll do the pre-show for Derry.
Speaking of which, we do have a question, Tony. Did either of you guys watch the new film adaptation of Stephen King's The Long Walk? I have not.
I have not watched that. I have not watched that. Where is it located to watch it? I will say this about I was Oceanside in the building. I will say this about Stephen King's movie. One of his books is the greatest movie ever made, Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, short story, Shawshank Redemption.
A lot of the other ones didn't work.
Maximum Overdrive is amazing, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
for the wrong reasons. It's cheesy 80s amazing. Misery is probably Misery.
Lawnmower Man.
Misery.
I think Lawnmower Man, the technology wasn't there to do the movie. the way it should have been done. I think if they did it now, it might be better. You know what I
maybe,
mean? But
maybe because it wasn't any better in the future, and I think half of it is okay. But the best one's Misery. Besides, Misery's a great, but it's a lot of that has to do with the performance. Kathy Bates is,
that's
and
what it is.
and James Caan are like incredible in that movie, both of them.
Yeah, it's a two-person thing where their dialogue controls the whole movie, right? So that's what it is, and that's why it works. But the big one, Dark Tower, and all, none of that shit worked. That stuff was terrible.
And
You know what I mean?
and for whatever it's worth, Shawshank, as much as, and Stephen King will say this, as much as he wrote the original idea, Frank Darabont really deserves as much credit as Stephen King with making that into the amazing movie that it was. Ooh,
China Moon says, do you think we'll get Baylor's Dreams? I think they have gone into the dream world recently, especially with House of the Dragon.
Yep.
I think they have done that. So I think that building on that you'll have no choice. They will go that route and everything else. I think that they'll definitely be doing that and all that. Chrissy of Old Stones, thank you for the super chat, love. Chrissy of Old Stones, are you covering? Yeah, we will cover it. We will have Bridge 4 here with us covering it. And we will have Miss Duncan the Tall will be covering it with us, who is the foremost expert on all Duncan Egg stuff. And no one knows more about that book series than her. So we will have her on here with us. So we'll all be here and we'll all be covering this show and stuff when it drops next year and everything.
Early in January too. And yes, big no love. Walking Dead was never the same after Frank Darabont. I still think there was good stuff, but that first season is The Walking Dead the best. And Apt Pupil Vince is a good Stephen King thing as well. I forgot that he did that. There's some secret stuff that he's written under pen names. We're talking about George earlier, and I've mentioned this a little bit before, and I'm sure you've seen it, Tony, as a writer watching it. It's always sort of like an inspiring situation watching Stephen King and George R.R. Martin talk, and you see how much of a professional Stephen King is. I'm not saying who's better or who's worse. And George turns to him and asks, how do you write so many goddamn fucking books? And he's like, I actually work every day, George. Every day I sit down and I write eight pages, and it eventually just gets done, George.
Stephen King is a better writer than George R.R. Martin. I don't think that's without question. I love what George has written more than what Stephen King has written.
Yeah, his
overall writing.
Yeah,
Stephen King is a far better writer than George R. Martin. George R. Martin has one series that blew up. Stephen King has written book at different topics and everything. He has one series, George R. Martin, which he can't even finish. One World, which you can't even finish. That's like saying is Tolkien the greatest writer of all time because he wrote Lord of the. It's one series, bro. It's like Harry Potter. It's a great series that she wrote. But what did she write outside of Harry Potter that was popping in the different
spin-off Harry Potter spin-off books?
Right? Did you written anything in the different genres?
Theme park rides.
It's like when I tell people I say the greatest
hateful
director
tweets.
of all time, and I tell them all the time that Steven Spielberg is the greatest director of all time. He's done it in every field. Comedy, check, hit movie. Horror, hit movie. Drama, hit movie. Battle movie, hit movie. There's nothing Steven Spielberg has not done in every genre and been incredibly successful at it. That is why he is the greatest director of all time. Is Steven Spielberg. There's no one better than him. All these people like Nolan, they're trying to catch Spielberg, but they all haven't done the same things.
It's because of the multi-genre stuff.
He did The Color Purple, went to a black thing and did that, and then after he did everything else, he did Schindler's List and went over to that. You don't see people with this type of range.
And then he did something like Amistad, which was like a period piece, or Catch Me If You Can, like these period pieces things that are just incredible. And then he produced movies that he didn't even touch, like has his hand in Back to the Future and Gremlins and shit, like where he was influential in the creative experience. He's done every single genre of movie. If I had a gun to my head for my life and I had one guy to make a movie, maybe I like, you know, Nolan or Tarantino or Martin Scorsese better like individually as their hits, their one hits. But I think all of them in a circle would say Spielberg's the greatest of all time. Like, well, like we have to give it to Spielberg. You know, he's the dude. Like give it to that
He's
dude.
done every genre successful and had a hit movie in every genre. It doesn't matter what it is. And that's what makes him the best of all time. Again, you may like certain movies done by other people that are better in that one movie, but overall, it's Steven Spielberg.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this dude just for 1 second, Tony, because I don't think
I got to go to the bathroom. I definitely want to talk about.
Okay, because I'll hold what I want to say because he is a rare occasion. I'm going to keep you on the screen right here, Vince, because I want to wait for Tony to get into Ron Howard. But let's get into this stuff. Ron Howard's a great, an odd, amazing anomaly of a talent. Anyways, I'll wait for Tony to get back. But but Spielberg is probably one of the most versatile directors because depending on what his mood is, what his mode is, he produces a lot of different elements and different kinds of content. Put some love on Ron Howard's name. We have to, in a interesting, unique way, where Ron Howard has had some sort of fame and success that not a lot of other people have been able to do. And I kind of want to make a short list on the people that have been able to do this, that have been able to have such success as a child actor in the way that he did. And not even just have success as a child actor, have success as a child actor, then as a teenage actor, and then again as an adult on Arrested Development, and as a director. His career is unbelievable in the sense that most child actors like that never really go past that or have elements of success after that. It's a few other people that I want to point out and talk about here, but it's definitely a rare occurrence. Pet Sematary is an amazing movie too. Good kind of horror vibe kind of situation. Oh my goodness. Oliver Stone. I enjoy, again, very good with the stylistic approach. I enjoy Oliver Stone movies when they hit, when it's the right content and the right situation. But it's interesting to think that certain people look at movies in different ways. Like Stephen King Stanley Kubrick really hates the way that who wrote The Shining? People in the live chat hates what Kubrick did with that movie. Certain Oliver Stone, I believe, who wrote the script for Natural Born Killers. I think Quentin Tarantino wrote the script for Natural Born Killers, and he hates what Oliver Stone did with it. So it's interesting to think that sometimes movies that are really appreciated, the writers of the books that were produced, was The Shining written by Stephen King?
I think it was.
And I'm pretty sure he hates what Kubrick did with that movie. Like he said, that's a bastardization of what my book is, but people love that fucking movie. So sometimes it's Pet Sematary scare me. And then some other books like Oliver Stone, Natural Born Killers was written by Quentin Tarantino, and he hates what Oliver Stone did with it. People love that movie. And he's like, oh, if I was going to do that movie, it would be so different. But Quentin Tarantino wrote that and didn't direct, and that's the movie that made him stop writing movies for other people to direct. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought before. But for the first time in a while, that's happening where I don't know if people have heard about this, but there's going to be a Netflix series written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by David Fincher, about Brad Pitt's character from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's focused on just like the series about
of him kicking Bruce Lee's ass.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a whole series of him kicking Bruce Lee's ass, Tony. But it's written by Quentin Tarantino. It's directed by not David Fincher. What's his name? The dude that did Mindhunters. Is that Fincher? Whatever. That is Fincher. Yeah. He's directing it, so it should be interesting. Okay, but quickly to Ron Howard. What I was saying was Ron Howard is probably one of the oddest success stories because he was famous as a child actor. He then made it as a teenager on Happy Days, was popular again to another generation of people because of Arrested Development. And he ended up being one of the best, like in the group of a handful of some of the most amazing filmmakers out there too. Such a unique fucking career. How many child actors fail? How many can we name that actually had successes? They were like good as child actors and then had Jason Bateman, and the guys from Silver Spoons, Carlton, he was famous on Silver Spoons, and then he was famous, and now he's a famous host and was Dancing with the Stars and shit like that. Like, he's managed to formulate a career, but for the most part, young child actors really don't have careers like Ron Howard.
I would say he's top when you look at the full career, but best actor, child actor. I mean, Jodie Foster.
Yeah, Jodie
Foster would go up there, and then you would have the oh my god, I can't think of her name, from 227 as a child actor. But you know, they started off younger than her. So Ron Howard, let's see what he's got. He's got Frost Nixon. He's got The Beautiful Mind. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Directed that. Did that. Cocoon.
Oh, that movie always makes me cry.
Splash.
Great, fun movie. Daryl Hannah.
The Missing is one of my favorite westerns of all time that never got any love, but The Missing, I love The Missing myself. Rush, the Beatles documentary.
Rush is an underrated movie about like a drug addict that it's a pretty good movie.
He did Jim Henson. He did that Apollo 13.
About Apollo Creed's early career. No, I'm kidding. It's a fun movie.
I mean, there's no denying. I mean, Cocoon was an amazing achievement. That he is a great director, and when you look at his career in totality, it's hard to say, you know, that anyone in Hollywood had a better thing than that with every career all around.
Yeah, as we look at like being able to hit it in every single place,
every stage of your life, you were successful at what you did.
Yeah, I mean, again, the next one, but he's not really a director, but someone like Jason Bateman had surprising success. That he was popular on Silver Spoons, and then Hogan's Family, and even before that, I think he was on Little House on the Prairie or a thing like that, and then eventually having his success in
his best show he was ever on.
The one with the teacher across the hallway. Is that the one you're going to talk about? When like the teacher was like banging his mom across the hallway and stuff like that.
That is correct. It's Your Move.
It's Your Move. Yeah, dude, I loved It's Your Move.
That was my favorite show when that came out. It's Your Move. I loved it.
And he's in Teen Wolf 2 as a boxer, which makes more sense than a basketball player, you know.
Teen Wolf 2. I should just stopped at 1.
Some may, if you asked Michael J. Fox, he'd say you probably never should have made the first one.
All right, now Vince Harper is talking blasphemous, saying if you ask Steven, he would pick Ron Howard. No, he wouldn't. But Steven is just not going to pick himself.
Steven would pick Martin Scorsese. Steven would probably like Scorsese is a better filmmaker than I am, or something like that.
He was just saying it just to be nice. Listen.
Or he'd blow up and
I'm not saying the man didn't have misses. That's life, right? But if you go back to it, let's go through it.
Tony, where would you put someone like James Cameron, who has had so many fucking successful movies? Like, forget like just.
It's still one genre, still sci-fi.
True, it's true.
Still sci-fi. He hasn't branched out to other things, so I give him.
I guess True Lies is the closest thing not to sci-fi, but it's still action, sort of.
He hasn't done a bunch. We're gonna go through Spielberg and show you what it is. Night Gallery, y'all probably never heard. It's 1969. Then Savage. After that, The Sugar Express. Then he came out with Jaws, which probably is still the greatest horror movie of all time.
And of the prototype for the big budget blockbuster movie. It was the first real blockbuster. That can't be understated. Yes, it went over budget. Yes, it gave Spielberg sort of a bad name at the time and sort of rubbed people the wrong way, especially some of his movies towards the beginning that Tony's going to mention that weren't as big as later things he did. But really, it created blockbusters, Tony. Jaws can't be understated how huge it was.
No. And then you had Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Scary.
1941.
That was one of that didn't do good in the theaters, but it's a fun movie.
Yeah, but look at the next 4 he came out with in a row: Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., Temple of Doom, and then The Color Purple. That is a 4 run that anyone would take that and retire with that. and be good with that and be done. Not just a 4-picture run. Then he had
He's
Empire
just
of the
getting
Sun.
started, Tony.
Yeah, then he had Empire of the Sun.
Amazing movie. Christian Bale is a kid actor.
Went from there to Indiana Jones: Last Crusade. Not the best one.
I think that might be the best Indiana Jones. I'm sorry.
You liked it. You like. I know a lot of people give it a lot of criticism.
I like. It's my second. Actually, it's my second favorite Indiana Jones. It's my second.
Then he did Always. He did a Hook, which was underrated.
Hook is a totally underrated movie. Rufio, motherfucker. Like I know it gets a hard time, but like I actually really like that they didn't just remake Peter Pan, and I think Dustin Hoffman does an amazing job. I think the whole thing is filmed really well, but that was one of those movies that made Steven Spielberg be like, I'm not going to work with kids anymore.
Yeah, and then Jurassic Park, another blockbuster.
Okay, bro, wait, we got to pause.
Started the whole franchise
and completely redesigned, helped redesign technology and the way that they produce the dinosaurs and all of that sort of stuff. Changed the game with Jurassic Park again.
The whole thing changed the game and made whole amusement parks around it. Schindler's List right after that. And then Jurassic Park, Lost World, Amistad, Saving Private Ryan. Look again, boom, boom, boom. 3 in a row. This massive, really, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row.
And Tony, all these movies are slightly different. Amistad and Saving Private Ryan aren't really dialogue-driven movies. They're like the way they shoot these movies with the big, like they're visually stunning movies. Some of his like incredible stuff. It's just he always pushes himself and always change. And we haven't even got to my favorite Spielberg movie yet, which is an underrated one. But
they're all like different genres. So this is what I'm saying. Look at the different genres the dude's done. Artificial Intelligence, Minority Report, then Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can is amazing. That's one of my favorite movies he ever did.
Amazing movie. Catch Me If You Can. Catch Me If You Can. Terminal, War of the Worlds,
pretty good.
Munich. Then did Indiana Jones, Tintin, Warhorse. Then came back with Lincoln, which was amazing.
Lincoln was amazing. And the Indiana Jones sucking, I blame more on Lucas than Spielberg. Get Lucas away from Spielberg.
Without a doubt. Then he had Bridge of Spies, BFG, The Post, Ready Player One, West Side Story, and The Fabelmans.
Okay, West Side Story might not be everyone, but as a theater kid, it was one of the best produced musicals to screens. Really fucking awesome. And Ready Player One was a really awesome movie. And his Spielberg individual picture was good too. And he's still making movies. He's still doing it. Tony, yeah, you got one person to make your movie. If you could have any director make your movie, would you pick?
100%.
Would you pick Spielberg?
Without a doubt, I would pick Steven Spielberg to do that movie because I know that he can do every genre. When I look at it, the only genre I could say he really didn't do is Westerns. In here, he hasn't done, like, he just wasn't into Westerns, or he didn't do a Western at all. But I have no doubt that if he did a Western, he'd pull it off.
Yeah, it would be like The Unforgiven or something.
Everything else. He's able to pull off the experience. When you have The Color Purple, he pulled off a black experience at that time. It's not a black man pulling off the black experience. This is a white Jewish man who was able to capture all that and put it on screen and put it the way. And that's what a director does. And that is what it's all about. Like Spike Lee, I expect him to capture the black experience. He's a black man who he should be able to do it. But could Spike Lee capture the German experience? Or anything else like that? Would he be able to do these things like the Russian experience? Steven Spielberg is able to do all that, and that is why Steven Spielberg is the greatest of all time, without a doubt. I would love Robert Townsend to do the film too. I would love Robert Townsend to do it. I would love that.
Glue's Guns N' Roses, the whole big story with that. It was this, they ended up getting locked out of the editing bay after the fact, after the movie was already made, because there were some problems with the directing team. I highly recommend looking up some YouTube documentary video stuff. I've watched a few on the making of the Mario Brothers movie. It was not a amazing experience. John Leguizamo and Bob Bob Hoskins were shit-faced during most of it, and they actually crashed a car during a scene, and that's why if you see one of them, I think it's John Leguizamo has like his hand broken later in the movies because they were doing a stunt and they were both drunk in the car and they hurt themselves on because they were just like, this movie sucks and the director sucked, and there was just this bad vibe and the directors got locked off the set after the movie. So there's a whole big story with that Guns N' Roses. So if that's your least favorite movie of all time, there's a reason. There's some horrible shit that happened backstage during the production of that.
Yeah, no, so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's great directors and everything else and all that. Overall, I give him the pass that he is definitely the greatest director of all time. Not saying 8 other great directors and everything. Top to bottom, I would give to him. That's why you see Nolan doing what he's doing. Because he's trying to be a Spielberg. He's trying to do every genre of movie that he can do and not just stick to one. And he's done superhero movies, Batman, check off the box.
You know what he's doing now, right? He's doing the Odyssey.
Yes,
he's doing his version of the Odyssey, which is interesting, different sort of thing for him to be doing. It's, I guess, the only thing he hasn't done was like a light comedy. I mean, I think that's the thing about Spielberg that separates him from some of the other people that get argued for the greatest directors, because Spielberg can also do the family lighthearted vibe in a way, like a movie like Catch Me If You Can, and do it with this sense of humor that a lot of other directors would make that way too serious. You get something that was, if Scorsese did that, you get Wolf of Wall Street, which is amazing, but it's not. Oh, that's my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio performance is Wolf of Wall Street. He owns that performance all the way.
He does. He definitely did. That he could have won for that. He should have won for that. But he got Leo. He wins in life, so he doesn't have to win those awards. He's just a winner in life. That's this.
I miss cheap comedies too. I mean, you can see them sometimes in independent movies, but in the sense of like having big stars and cheap and low budget comedies, I miss that too. It's just having stand-up comedy vehicles. I miss the Eddie Murphy comedy. I think, but we were lucky to get a movie like Dolomite or something like that, which was kind of back in that feel. And Coming to America 2 was pretty good, but it wasn't. I think Eddie is the king of that, and Robin Williams is also the king of that too.
I love Dolomite. I love that. Coming to America 2 just could have been better. I just wish they did it better. They thought more of the script than what they did. And I think that was a problem with it and everything. But I love it's just nostalgia, just seeing all the old actors grown up and still alive and able to reprise the role. That makes it works for me just for that reason.
I just love Eddie Murphy, and like anything he does is funny to me. So what's really kind of cool is I can't wait for he's doing some documentary that he's doing the voiceover for. Oh shit, I didn't even realize we have a voicemail from before, Tony, from September 23rd that we missed. Let's play this.
All right.
Hi, LMR, Tony, and Phil. It's Kim from Brooklyn. Glad you're feeling better, Tony. Just wanted to clear up some confusion I had from the very first episode.
Dexter question.
What did Angela Bishop mean in the note when Teddy gave Dexter her note and she said, we're even now? Because if memory serves, I don't think she ever shot him. I know Logan tried to shoot him before Dexter killed him, and Harrison shot him. So what made her change her mind about the whole arrest situation? Thanks for your thoughts. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Tony, I have to send this one to you if you know what this call is.
I don't remember. I have to go back and watch it.
We're out of Dexter mode, but I just wanted to make sure we played your message. But we will hold on to this, and we'll check back into Dexter stuff.
But I think maybe it was. I had to think it would just be more of him pushing him, letting him out of what the situation he was in and everything more. That's what I would think, but I have to go back and actually look at
Funnier, Jim Carrey or Eddie Murphy? I think for movies, Eddie Murphy will always have me. Jim Carrey's definitely up there. Robin Williams I'll also mention. But where Eddie Murphy gets me is as much as I love Richard Pryor and I love George Carlin, Eddie Murphy to me is the greatest stand-up comedy of all time when he's on his top of his game. So just put him in anything. I think he's the funniest fuck on the planet. Like put him just like sitting talking. So like, but and Jim Carrey can get kind of
it's different
annoying.
types of funny. It's different types of funny, right? Eddie Murphy is the funniest movies of all time. I mean, listen, Booty Call is and Don't Be a Menace While Drinking Your Juice and Who is probably my favorite comedy movie of all time. I think that's the funniest movie ever made, right? But when you look at like
Jamie Foxx is in the zone in that movie. Like he's so locked in his like in those sex scenes with Vivica, and she's so locked. The two of them work so well together. It's just so fucking hilarious.
So beautiful at that time.
That's her. Yeah. Oh my god.
I when you look at Trading Places and you look, I just think there's levels to it.
The Nutty
And
Professor.
I think that level of Trading Places and 48 Hours is
the first one
level of comedy compared to those. Like, I don't want to call them lowbrow comedies. Like Jim Carrey in The Mask and you know the Animal Hunter, whatever he was.
Let me ask you something, Tony. No, sorry.
Like that to me is like a lowbrow comedy who's doing fart jokes for gags. You know what I mean? And that will always make you laugh if you're a human being. But I just don't think it's on the level of what Eddie Murphy was on a different level of.
No. To me, with Eddie Murphy, the only comparisons in those kind of movies to me would be Robin Williams and Rodney Dangerfield when they're at their prime. Like Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School and Caddyshack, it might be the funniest fuck on the face of the earth. Like there's just something about him in like at a party with rich people when he's Rodney Dangerfielding all over the place, or Robin Williams in whatever X you wanna is your Robin Williams. Like at those peaks, I think I enjoy that even more than Jim Carrey. I'd put them close, or Steve Martin at his best might be the best one for one with Eddie Murphy, because Steve Martin might be the one that Eddie Murphy would go, he might have me a little bit, like just because of the repetition of how much he's done it over and over again. He's probably the closest thing.
Roxanne could be one of the greatest movies of all time with Steve Martin. Right?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles might be one of my favorite comedy, like his, but that may a lot to John Candy. He's great in Parenthood. He's great in the Man with Two Brains.
Man Two Brains. I probably watched that like 1,000 times because I had it on Betamax, that tape. I just watched twisting the skull caps. That's all I see in my head and everything, and kissing the jar with the brain in it.
Yeah, no one does stupid. What's that movie with him and Michael Caine where they both play con men? It's and they both like they're trying to they go over to Europe and what the fuck is that movie? I forget what it's called. Not Distinguished Gentleman or whatever. No, that's Eddie Murphy. That's an Eddie Murphy movie.
Jerk had the dog named Stupid and the Jerk.
The Jerk.
And all that, but. And again, I said this lowbrow comedy who's just going for the
dirty rotten scoundrels. Thank you, John Haymaker.
There's that, and then there's something else. I think that Eddie Murphy's comedy, especially I just go back to Trading Places. They don't even look at it as a comedy. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie ever made, but Trading Places is a fucking movie,
it's a great movie. It's a
great movie in itself. It's just a great movie. You know what I mean? And that's it. The Three Amigos was satire. The dunk, dunk, dunk. Oh, it was just satire.
You got Chong as the bad guy in it and stuff like that. But
yeah.
and Eddie's movies were, I'd say, if we're talking about home run hitting stuff, for me, Eddie Murphy's movies were all home runs up until Metro. Metro was the first movie he did that wasn't good. I think every movie he did up into that was fucking amazing. And then he had movies that were great after that.
Because he had that Holy Man.
Yeah, Holy Man was meh. Yeah, with him and Jeff Goldblum. That was a little.
And he turned down the Jackie Chan movie to do it.
Yeah, he turned down Rush Hour to do it. Yeah.
Rush Hour. He was supposed to be in Rush Hour. And if you hear the line of Chris Tucker when he's like, "Don't you ever mess with a black man's radio?" That's Eddie Murphy. Like, that's Eddie Murphy. You could tell that was written for Eddie Murphy. That was written for him. If you would have just went that route and went there with that, it would have been over. His career would have just still blown up.
Instead, he did that, and then he did that shitty movie Showtime with Robert De Niro. That was pretty bad. Pluto Nash, all this fucking crap. But then eventually the Nutty Professor movies hit for him again, and Shrek hit for him again, and Showgirls, and he got to show, because Eddie's also, even Party All My Time aside, Eddie's got a great voice. Eddie really can. He really can sing. You know, like when he's doing that Bob, don't let him fool you. Oh no, it's like he's actually like he's getting you in the heart and stuff like that. You know?
No, Rick James was the biggest star in the world in pop time, and he produced Eddie Murphy's album. That's like take any comedian. Let's just take a female comedian right now. Take any female comedian you have right now, and then have Taylor Swift deciding to produce an album.
Yeah.
How hard would that be? How hard is that to be? You can pick any female comedian right now in the world. And you think Taylor Swift will produce her album? That's what Rick James did for fucking Eddie Murphy. So he had talent. It wasn't like he didn't have any talent or anything else like that. But Rick James was the biggest pop star in the world. He came out with Super Freak, the biggest, and there was no one bigger than Rick James.
The problem was, Tony, every person that tuned into that premiere of that video that night expected Eddie to do something funny, and he had this serious look on his face, and he wanted to party all the time. He should have. The first song should have been a funny song. He should have eased people into partying all the time.
Well, he did. He had that the Big Butt rap song.
Oh, I forgot about that song.
And then he had Put a Boogie in Your Butt. He had that song.
Put a boogie in your butt.
In your butt. Put a boogie in your butt. He's like, I ain't put no boogie in my butt, man. What? I ain't put no boogie in my butt for what? $100? Let me show you. And then he said, I remember one line. He said, put a tin can up your butt. I said, put a little man up your butt. I said, put a Christmas tree up your butt. Why don't you put me up your butt?
Yeah. I love that.
And then his rap song, had a Big Butt, was his rap song. And I remember this, Eddie Murphy fan. I was a child when this came out, so I remember it. He said, I like to drive my car, but my butt's too wide. My car's the one that leans to the side. Going to the street to the picture show. My butt hanging out, my car window. I got a big butt. I don't care. I ride the bus to charge me double fare. I got a big butt, a big butt. Big butt, a big butt. I remember that. It made me laugh when I was a child, and I loved it. And everything.
I love that shit too.
That's why I still remember it. But that was
you unlocked a memory achievement for me right there. I blocked some of that stuff out. Like I forgot some of that stuff. That was great.
I love that song. I love it.
No, I don't think any of Eddie's. I don't think anyone has surpassed Eddie Murphy for me necessarily. Someone asked, "Is Chappelle? Do you mean as a stand-up comic?" I mean, I know. I think as great as some of the stand-up comics that have come since Eddie Murphy, I don't think anyone has touched him for connected with me humor wise. I think Chappelle has been hilarious. Chris Rock's been hilarious. There's a few other people I could mention that I'm blanking on that have had their moments here and there, but I don't think anything matches Eddie's stand up for me quite
There's
yet.
Nothing that matches out of all the stuff that everyone has done over all the years. There's nothing better than Delirious and Raw. Yeah. And that's about, like, these people have done more than Delirious. They've done 5, 6 different comedy specials. Eddie did 2. We did 2 big ones, and that's all he's done. And there's nothing that any of them have come out with that have matched or overtook Delirious on. You could put Delirious on right now, and it was out in the 80s, and it's funnier. And you would laugh right now about the stuff he's talking about.
Minus a few uncomfortable jokes, but yes. The only thing that I will say if we're not talking about stand-up comedy, if we're talking about sketch comedy, there's an argument to be made that Eddie Murphy's time on Saturday Night Live, as amazing as it wasn't. There's an argument to be made with the Chappelle Show versus Eddie's time on Saturday Night Live. Like, who's the better
That's not
sketch
fair, though. That's
sketch
not fair.
person?
It's not fair because Dave had control of the whole show. He was
Fair,
in
fair. Yeah, he
every-
was
every
co-creator
sketch.
of it and stuff like that. Yep.
He
for
was
sure.
in every sketch. Eddie was in certain sketches in with other people doing their own sketch.
Yeah, and he had to have Joe. He had to fucking have Joe Piscopo around. Like, he made Joe Piscopo funny. Just that alone, Tony.
It's not a fair comparison. If Eddie had, if like it was in Living Color and it was Eddie's show in Living Color and he did all the sketches in every sketch, Dave Chappelle's in every sketch. He's in every sketch, and
Pretty much,
Eddie
yeah.
Murphy was in. And let's go through any sketch you put in there. Put Eddie Murphy in every sketch, and then you can compare it. But I like Chappelle's show more than Saturday Night Live because that's like Dave Chappelle, and it's just more of my time than when Eddie was doing it. I was young. When Eddie was doing it, I was sure I didn't get it all. You know what I mean? When Dave Chappelle did it, I was an adult. And
Right. And it was like the height, like my first DVDs I got were some like Chappelle Show stuff. It was like some of the stuff I first rewatched. It has that in South Park, like that. It has a very foundational sort of thing.
You know, like I wasn't like when he did the the Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. I knew who Mr. Robinson was, but I was too young to not appreciate it. The Gumby shit, I didn't know who Gumby was. I had to look up Gumby. And then I realized who Gumby and Pokey weren't stars. What I got, and that was his whole skit that Gumby wasn't a star anymore.
Yeah, he was a has-been.
He's a has-been.
He's a
That
fucking
was his
has-been.
whole thing. That was his whole thing. But I didn't know Gumby as a star. Now, if he did like the Cabbage Patch Kids, and then it was like that, then I could understand it better. You know what I mean? So that was made for a different audience and stuff. So that would be the difference between the stuff that he did there. But the bottom line is this: when they did the 50th reunion, Eddie Murphy killed it more than everybody. He ain't been there all them years. He came back and just killed.
And at times that I've seen, and at times that, and this is the biggest tell, at times when you see Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle on stage together, or any of the modern comedians on stage together, Eddie's still the funniest guy on stage. At that Saturday Night Live special, at times that I've seen him on stage with Dave when he's doing his monologue and he brings out Dave and Chris Rock, like there's just something more naturally funny about Eddie Murphy than there is almost any other human being on earth. And I can't, at least for me, the only comparison I could give it to again is Robin Williams. Like, they are the two most naturally funny individuals, and maybe Rodney Dangerfield too. Like
I love Robin, but he was accused of stealing people's material.
He was, but I just mean his personality. I'm not even talking about his talent as a like just that like you put that he stole people's material because he was just like blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't even think he did it on if he told him, if someone was like, you stole my shit, every person that said it, they confronted him, he's like, I'm so sorry. He'll drop it out of the joke. He's like, I didn't even realize I did it. He was so high on coke, he didn't even realize. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Robin Williams is amazing. Robin Williams is amazing.
I'm an apologist, but cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, and I love Robin Williams. I love Robin Williams, and I loved the.
Oh, but yeah, he stole everyone's jokes. He stole.
I love this energy. I love Robin Williams from the day I first saw him. I would never not love Robin Williams. You know what I mean? I always thought he was.
But he's infamous. He's infamous, but he's not in the way that like other people are thought of in bad ways. Like everyone says it about it in a loving way. Like, oh yeah, Robin stole my joke. Yeah, Robin.
Whereas answer AK, yeah, I remember the Garbage Pail Kids. I had the cards. I collected the cards of the
Adam
Garbage Pail
Bomb,
Kids.
baby. That was the one you were searching for. Number one, Adam Bomb.
Yep, I had those cards. I collected them. I had a little thing in the binder, and I put the cards in there and everything.
Did you ever get into like baseball cards and that kind of stuff, or was it just like I never really got into that shit? It was just the Garbage Pail Kids. I did.
You know, I dabbled. I dabbled in them. I didn't. You know, I didn't do it all the time, but I dabbled in cards and stuff, but never. I still probably have a couple of cards running around. In fact, I found something I want to show to y'all real quick.
Mork and Mindy is funny to this day. I think that's the thing about Robin, is just personality, and people like Eddie too. you put them in any time, any situation, they're funny just because their personalities themselves are funny. And I never got too much into the cards just because I'm not good at collecting shit. I break it. I'm not good at saving it. But I did get into Garbage Pail Kids for a bit. We used to get into fistfights over G.I. Joe toys. I'd say I always got into, I never had too many of one action figure. I'd always have to sort of find things in the trash or put things together. So I'd have like a Ninja Turtle with one leg or a G.I. Joe with one arm or, you know, the mask toy without a head. And then I'd put them in battle royals or create my own stories with them. You know, a Hot Wheels with missing wheels and shit like that. You got into Pogs. I'm too old for that. A little bit here and there, you know, I know what they are. I had a few, but that generation missed me by a little bit with the Pogs and stuff like that. So I never really played them, but my friend Joe had more of those than I did, I believe. Yeah, Vince, I was like one of those dogs that like rips up toys too easy. I was rough on toys.
I'm sure I'll never listen to this ever in this format, but I found this today when I was going through my stuff, and look at that right there. I have the last tape I ever bought.
Oh, that's rest in peace.
Rest in peace, D'Angelo. Cassette tape, D'Angelo.
Wow, it looks like those things. I used to have so many of those hanging out around my house.
So many.
I'd use them to put joints in blunts in and just throw it out at the public place. You know, it'd be my thing that I'd smuggle like into concerts and stuff, and I'd just ditch the case because it's plastic. But I'd kill for one of those now. Jesus, I haven't seen those in forever.
I got that probably my last tape. I don't know if it's the last one I ever had, but you know, I just happened to have it. I just seen it, and it's right there. It was right there, and I was like, oh my God, D'Angelo lady right there. You know, and probably the last tape. That was, let me tell you about my tape days. That was my younger days. Let me tell you about my tape days.
Mixtapes.
That was my love making days. I remember I used to always when I have sex with my kid's mom. Hopefully she's not listening or my children's not listening. I used to always make it like, all right, before I could even get down to myself, I had to go to the tape flipped over. And this is the era where you had to flip the tape over yourself by hand. So it was just all getting it on until then when I flipped the tape over and then the tape ended, I had to stop, lean over, grab it, flip the tape over, hit play again, come back. And then that was when it was my turn.
Do you know what's weird about the tape? Eventually, cassette tapes did do the thing where it would be able to switch. Some tape players would have the switch over, but for a while, you were downgrading if you had records because most record players at that point in time would have like it would grab the record when one side flipped and flip it over for you. And so it was almost like when you went to tapes, it was like you'd have to do that thing where you have to get up and put it out. Like I remember at first when I not upgraded or something like that, I was pissed off. I was like, oh, my record. And it was I had like a shitty little record player. I'm not saying it wasn't even this big thing. It was like, you know, a trashy thing, but it still flipped the record itself. That was just like a part of it, which is technology is amazing.
Yeah, they made the tape players that did flip over the tape for you and then it reversed and
it took a while though. It was towards the end. It was right before
and you hear it go.
And sometimes that would break the tape. Sometimes that would be the moment that your tape would get like caught and twist up and shit like that.
Those radios that ate your tapes,
dude. You'd work in a mixtape for hours, and then that fucking shit would fucking
try to tape shit back together, try to put the tape. Try to wrap it.
You're running around that shit.
And then put the tape, but it never broke it, and
trying to get a pen that fits.
Yeah, like pen right there.
For hours, dude.
And then it would just flip over the tape and you got to pull it back out.
Just to put it in to have it do it again.
I remember Nas in this one of his raps, halftime rap. He says, "Smooth criminal on beat breaks. Don't put me in your box if the shit eat tapes." That's how you know.
Good lyric.
That was the time.
No pause, Amy. No pause.
That's the way it was back then and everything. This is an ask me anything. Y'all ain't asked me shit. But
a few questions. There's been a few.
There's a few questions. There's a few questions in there. So, but y'all could ask whatever you want and everything else. We're talking about this era and all this good stuff and everything else. And I use pencils. The pencils are good if you use the eraser side. You have to use that eraser, a little thicker on the eraser side to get it. But the big pen, if you had it right, you could bend it out and it would hit the loop. And you'd be like,
the thicker paper clip, if you angled it the right way, would work too. You had to sort of like grab it around and spin it. It was a weird strategy.
I use my fingers to do it.
Oh, pause, Amy. Pause, Amy. But you use your finger. Stop. You said that on purpose. That was on purpose.
Pixie.
That's on purpose.
Like KP said, why you ain't find a good wife, Tony? I would say there's two reasons on this. Number one, I'm just not good looking and attractive enough to find one. I'm being honest with you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not good looking enough or attractive enough to find one. Number two, I think it's the area that I live in. The area I live in doesn't really respect the look that I present. They're more of a, they're more looking for like, if you're like maybe 250 pound white guy who has a deer on the top of his hood, like they're more into that.
do you know what that's called? Do you know what that's called? It's shrekking. There people are shrekking these days.
They're more into that stuff and everything else. You know what I mean? I think they're more that's what they like, and nothing wrong with it. Everyone has a right to like what they want, you know what I mean? But more of the area, I would say, than anything. Like women I meet on online dating sites that actually like me are far away from me, and that's usually the problem. Like I'm very popular in Canada, but it's just what it is and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. As Vince Harper says, man, run your paper up. It makes you look better. Allegedly, it not here. Not. I mean, yes, in general, yes, 100%. But is that what you want? Is that what you want? Like I don't want no one to want me, not for me. The whole purpose is to find someone who actually loves you for who you are and not what you, not what you could provide for them in that aspect of life, that actually cares about you as a person. So I'm more into that and everything else at this particular stage. Like you really gotta just care for me and all my quirks or whatever else and all that stuff, more into that and stuff. So I would say that. And I would say that I'm not it's not that I am not getting offers or I'm not getting people that I do want to be with. I am just not, the offers I'm getting, I'm just not accepting. A lot of it. It's just, it is what it is. I don't know. It is what it is. I just keep it pushing. I'm not really worried about it or anything else like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just I'm cool with everything and the way thing is going and everything out. Would it be nice to have someone to come home to after work and talk? 100%. It definitely would be. But in the end, am I willing to give up what I have? Like someone to move into my crib right now, this shit's set up the way I want it set up. And if I had to move someone in and they wanted to make changes, I don't know if I'd be willing to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'd be willing to make any changes. I like everything the way it is. Everything to me is the way I want it to be, and it's perfect for me. So I don't even know if I'd be willing to make a change, or I don't like this on the wall here. I want to put. I don't know. No. Everything's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Change for once.
That's what it is. So that's what I would say to that. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of me, but a little bit of them. I think it's just is what it is. And
It's
as
tough.
for sleeping in the same bed with, I haven't slept in the same bed with someone for over 15
Oh,
years.
if I ever got married again, we'd have the separate bedrooms. Like we'd share the bed sometimes, but like we have to be able to sleep separate too. That'd be fun sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Tony has a dwarf king. They're not dwarfs, all right? They're midgets. And I don't have a kink for them at all, KP. I will say, I ain't gonna lie, the one that danced with me had a fat little ass. A little tiny ass, but it was a fat little tiny ass. I ain't gonna lie about it and anything else like that, but it's a little tiny. It's still too small for the dime. You know what I mean? Fun size though, it did what it is. But no, I wouldn't.
I'm kidding, Glues, Guns and Roses, but I do remember like in the first few years, like sharing a twin bed with someone for like 5 years before like upgrading to a double.
Yeah, that's that little kid love. When you're willing to sleep on the mattress on the floor without the frame.
Yeah, that's what more what I mean. Like, yeah, I'd have
not even the box spring, just the mattress.
I'd have to get like the king, the Super King or something.
That's that first love. That first love is the single mattress on the floor in your place, and y'all are happy to be with each other. But when you get to a couple of years and smelling that motherfucker's ass and breath, right, that's when all that shit stops, and you're like, I gotta get a fucking bed frame, a fucking box.
I need to get a curtain to put in the middle of the bed like a sitcom where we split this room in half.
But that's that 18-year-old, 19-year-old first place love. Nothing beats that, right? Air mattress on the floor, chilling, and nothing beats that. But that shit gets old quick. All right.
Yeah,
you realize
eventually you like go on a vacation and you get a hotel room where they accidentally give you 2 beds except for one. You're like, oh, we'll sleep in separate beds. We're on vacation.
My kid's mom, when I first got with her and her landlord found out that I was black, he turned off her heat because I was black and he didn't want her there because of me. And I remember us in her bedroom, in her single bed, and she had a roommate at the time. It was the first place she got out of high school, her and her friend Dorian. And we'd be up in that bedroom with no heat in the winter in upstate New York under the blanket, and we didn't give a fuck. We was all about it. It was all cool. Get older and shit, your bones start to hurt and shit.
Yep.
Right? We were older. And we got with that, I would have probably been like, listen, tell that motherfucker we ain't together no more. You just come over my house. But right there, we was fight the power. Fuck these people. I love, it's over everything. Fuck the landlord. Fuck everybody. Our love is going to keep us warm. You know what I mean?
I'm going to climb out windows to come see you and climb it like, no matter what.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. That's that young love.
That's like the John Cusack hanging outside the window with the love box thing situation.
I threw rocks at windows. I've done all that. AK, thank you so much for the super chat. She said, I'll be home for Christmas and New Year's this year.
I'll be home.
Want to build a curry snowman. Yeah. All you got to do, AK, is tell me when you're back around the way. We can figure it out. I'm all about that. I'm all about it, 100%. I definitely would. So do a link up with the Teflon fandom a little bit ago, and we never got a chance to do it. Isn't that illegal? Can't you die? It is illegal, 100%. But in redneck land, it's not.
In redneck land in the late 90s, early 2000s, no one gave a shit about that stuff. It's different time.
No, you call the cops, they come back. He says, I don't know why it went out. I'll do my best to fix it. And then there it is. But he specifically told her roommate that he said to her, you and your boyfriend are cool, but your roommate and her boyfriend, we can't have that around here. And then after he said that, then all of a sudden the heat started going off, and they'll go off for 3 days and come back on for a day.
Why am I imagining this guy like Bobby Bacala from Dexter?
It was just some fucking redneck guy and shit. And they were living in the fucking trailer park. It was their first apartment out of high school and shit. And there's this some bullshit. That's just what it was. You know what I mean? That's just the way it was. And he's passed away and stuff like that. And his son passed away, so they get what they get. But, you know, it just was what it was and everything. You know, I think that when people, now it's funny because my daughter, when I was speaking to my daughter, Chloe, she said to me, she goes, Dad, you just wouldn't understand. And I said, why wouldn't I understand? She goes, because you were raised in the 1900s. And I was like, God damn, that hurt.
Cue the song "Parents Just Don't Understand." You know, like people could say that forever.
I
was it?
was like, that hurt me. I was like, God damn. I was like, that's why you look at me. That's the way you look
You're
at
a
me.
boomer, Dad. You're a boomer.
She's like, you were raised in the 1900s. I was like, oh, God damn.
Michael Jordan was playing against plumbers. He's no good.
You know, it's that's what it is, though, right? So, you know, that's what it is. But you know, and that's just the way it goes, and that's where these young kids see it. But when you look at like the 90s coming off the 80s and everything else, when you look at that stuff, you know, things weren't what they were, you know, now. Like, I remember, you know what I mean? Like, I remember, you know, when hip hop wasn't popular like that, when it was just in New York. And that people in other states didn't even know what rap music was. I remember visiting my cousin in North Carolina. I had no idea what rap music was. Like, I remember it when it was just coming out and everything else and all that. And it really, you know, it helped expand Black culture, FBA culture, and everything else. But I remember, I remember all that. I would say racism in the late 80s and early 90s. And everyone thinks like, oh, it was all love together. That's, you know, I remember all that stuff.
No, it was a lot of division, a lot of specialization, but it also crafted like what you were just talking about a little bit, the way people discovered art and music. Like it was that way with like rock music too and stuff, like the whole Seattle scene or certain heavy metal scenes with certain vibes and bands. You would only hear about if you were in that area, and those cassette tapes got sent over. So like before Smells Like Teen Spirit was on MTV, a friend of mine who lived out in Seattle used to send us like cassette tapes of Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam and Nirvana before they were famous. So we all knew about that shit before it was popular, but only people in that area kind of got into that vibe and sort of built that scene and that kind of vibe. And I think that made people more attached to music, energy, vibes and stuff, rather than everyone just hearing all the same stuff or the way people discover music today.
Let me put it to you like this. This is what, and I'll ask you a question in a second, AK.
Yep.
I used to go out to Francis Lewis Boulevard in Queens. All my Queens heads know where Francis Lewis Boulevard was. And Francis Lewis Boulevard, out there and outside of Bayside, was where all the Guidos and the Guidettes would be. And back then, they used to always drive this Berettas. Was like the big Guido Guidette car. All the women, basically, Guidettes all had Berettas. They all had Chevy. Y'all don't even know what Beretta is. They don't make the car no more. But for the y'all heads,
like,
you know,
they had the gun, the Beretta. No, there's a car. There's a car.
They all had the Beretta. I mean, I remember because I used to go out there and I used to pull all those women, and people from my neighborhood couldn't believe that I was able to pull all these white women going out there. Like they couldn't believe it. And people used to take me in the car and drive me out there just because I was able to pull all these Guidettes out there at Francis Lewis Boulevard. When I moved to the Bronx, and I was living in the Bronx on 167 Jerome McCullough, when I lived out there for 2 years, and I was living out there, Black dudes out there couldn't believe that I had sex with a white woman. And I had sex with multiple ones, millions of them. And they didn't believe me. Like, they thought I was making it up. Like, you ain't no white woman messing with you. No, you ain't messing. Like, they literally thought I was making it. And to me, it was just like, it was nothing because I was in Queens. This is just what it is. But the people in the Bronx, you know, borough over, like, couldn't believe it. Like, it was unbelievable to them that I had sex with white women and stuff. And so that just shows you the divide. From borough to borough, it was different. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It was just a whole different situation and stuff like that. And then when I went to upstate New York, and I will tell you that, you know, when you go to upstate New York, and you the only Black man, basically Black man from the city in the town, your options open up a lot. And I'll tell you, if people say you go to an all white town and you're a black man, especially at the time I did it, especially from the city, and the other black guy who there was all this like raised up there, he didn't have no swagger to him. The world, like everybody wants you. Like it wasn't even a problem. Like it was too much. It was
You're
too
like
much.
the Tulsa King, right?
It was like anyone who had any type, but the thing is that a lot of them is a fetish. It's a fetish size of you. It's to get back at the parents. It's just whatever. It's not for you. It's not for you. It's not because they care about you. That basically, even though you're the one, you feel like you're benefiting, but they're the ones who's really using you. They're using you. You know what I mean? And that's the hard reality of it. Now you're getting a pleasure from the service and everything else, but they're using you. They're not taking it serious with you. They're not wanting to be with you. They're not trying to have a baby with you or build a life with you.
No, you're just fulfilling a kink to them.
Yeah, you're that kink, you're that fetish, you're just that job, and then you're passed on, and that's what it is, and that's the way it goes. But all right, so let me say, AK, are you still going to do a documentary video on your family tree record back to slave? I would love to. I just actually have an updated version of it my cousin just gave to me. So I would love to do it. And hopefully I do get a chance to actually to do that. I don't want to promise it, and I don't think anyone will probably watch it or anything, but I will do the best that I can to get it done within the upcoming year, at least if I get started and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that's what it is.
Let me know. I can help edit and stuff once you get to that point.
I appreciate it. True, 100%. My dad lived in a town, 99% whites, and there was only one black kid, and he was the most popular. His dad married a white lady, so maybe it was 99.8. That's what it is, But then you got to deal with, white men in there, and it just comes down to if somebody likes somebody. And that person likes a black man, saying myself, then what are you going to see as the biggest difference between us? And then obviously you're going to lash out at me because of that, because that's the only difference that you can say that it is. And then it just turns to you getting your ass kicked. And that's what happened. They got their ass kicked and everything, but it leads to situations like that. You know what I mean? Like if in the city, if it's a black guy and there's another black guy and you like the same girl and she likes you and he don't like you, he can't use that against you, so he's just gonna say you're a pussy, and that's just what it is, and it just goes on like that. But if he wasn't, he'd use whatever, because there's only three things that really hurt somebody, right? You talk about their sexuality, you talk about their race, or you talk about their mother. That's it. Those are the three things that you say that hurt somebody's feelings, and that's just the way it goes and everything else. But yeah, that it is what it is, I think that, and I do believe that a lot of black men who came to upstate New York stayed because of that reason, because they got more play up here than they did in the city. Now I got a lot of play in the city, so it didn't matter to me. But I know a lot of black men probably didn't get no play in the city because they were just one of many, and came up here and was just one of 10, and there you go. And didn't go back because of it. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it worked and shit. That's my opinion from what I've seen, and I think that I'm very truthful about that. That's the way it went down and everything, and all that. But what up to Carla Way, all the way from the land down under, the thunder from down under, the thunder from down under, which is.
That's that male stripper group, the Thunder.
It is the greatest male stripper name.
They're awesome in Vegas. They'll like run up to your girl. You're walking the girl. They'll grab her. They'll bring it. You're coming in. Bloody hell! You're coming. I can't do your accent.
They're getting the shit kicked out of them. And you put your hands on my lady.
I gotta go to. We gotta go to Vegas sometime, Tony.
We do. But it is the greatest. It is the greatest male stripper name of all time. The Thunder.
Thunder from down under. That's perfect. That's Yeah,
So
great.
we got America's Chippendales.
Yeah, that's Rescue Rangers. Yeah, it's the fucking Rescue Rangers, dude. I think Chip and Dale's. I think the fucking Chip. I think Disney. Like, what the fuck?
That's right.
I was like, the first time I heard that, I was like, do they all wear like the pictures of the rescue, like the Rescue Rangers on their
They
like?
should be they should be in the furry costumes and take them off.
Dude, I would go if they did that. I don't give a shit. I'd fucking check that shit out. I'd be like bringing people there. Exactly, AK. If they were going Chippendales, and shit like that, I'd be wearing that shit like that that hat right back there. Like I'd be mad into that. They should like Vince McMahon dropped off the WWF and the World Wildlife Foundation. Didn't Disney try to sue for the Chippendale thing? Like, what the fuck?
Will Smith says, "Let's meet up in New Orleans or Vegas. Let's do it. If y'all wanted to meet up with the Don Tony Teflon, Phil the Issues guy, or anyone, and Elamar, obviously, if she can get away." Where would you want to meet us up? I always keep saying Nashville.
Yeah, because it's East Coast. It's easy and stuff like that too. But
where we got? Where was your place?
I mean, there's a lot of places. Like I think we should do a poll or something. If we really wanted to do something, we should do a poll where it's easiest for everyone to get to.
That's what I would have to do. Like, we're not going to Mexico, guys. We're not doing Mexico.
You said Vegas first, though. Vegas or Mexico. Okay, so Vegas it is.
We're seeing Vegas in the chat.
I would say Vegas just because the hotels you can get really cheap hotels if you stay off the strip.
Nashville was lit, Con of Thrones, super easy to get to, good city vibe.
Nashville is a fucking great place.
And you got Big Will there to help y'all out with places to stay for cheap.
I agree. I think losing Guns N' Roses is onto it. I think this is where you guys should. I think you guys should come to Boston.
I went to Boston one time, fell in love with. If there's a spot in Boston, like where would we go in Boston? The hotel? We just go in a hotel with a bar in it and we just chilling in there? What is going on?
Yeah, so you could come down where I am and we could spend the day in Salem or something like that. But there's not much. Like, I mean, it's the thing that's cool about a place like Nashville or a place like Vegas or a place like New Orleans. It has that like area where you can drink outside and walk around and and party hop from place to place and enjoy the vibe of the scene. Boston's cool, but it would be just like we're going to hang in a bar and hang out. Like there's not so much like stuff to do, that kind of vibe.
There needs to be more of an event. You know what I mean? That's why I said like Nashville is like an event. So like even if we go out there and we hit the strip, we're hitting the strip of Nashville. It's going to be 1 billion people out there. We're all going to be chilling.
Yeah, New Orleans is the same thing, and Vegas is that times 10.
So I would still say Nashville, but if people are more into Vegas,
how about like we're missing a big one because no one wants to fucking go there, Tony. But we're right in between. How about could we ever tell people to go to Atlantic City?
I would go to Atlantic City. I like Atlantic City.
That's what I'm saying. It's right there. I mean, like, why are we ignoring? Like,
I like Atlantic City.
AC's right there.
I love Atlantic City. I would go on the boardwalk down there. But now it's the wintertime, so we can't do it. It would have to be in the summertime. We have to figure that out.
Blues, Guns N' Roses. I'm right close to Salem, so if you ever come back, let me know. There was just a bus trip tour from where I'm at up here to Salem and stuff. If you ever want to take it, you got a place to stay, Tony.
All right, I didn't know you were right down
there. It'll be like air mattress shit. We were talking about air mattresses. You got an air mattress for a couch.
My sister just came and she had to sleep on the couch, and her son was on the air mattress. My nephew.
You get a choice. Air mattress.
Yeah, she's rich, so she has like an air mattress that has like a headboard and shit. Like her air mattress has a fucking headboard like built in, like it blows up.
What is that? That's like a mansion friggin' tent,
What the fuck? Where are these air mattresses that come full of stuff? Where it come? I think Nashville is the spot.
Nashville is awesome. We have some connection to that. My whole thing with Vegas is just I know how to drink for free there. So I'm like the Frank Gallagher in me is like, oh, Vegas, I know how to drink free there.
Yeah, we'll drink for free in Nashville too, because we'll just do what we did before. Who made those Jello shots? Was it Elamar? Did she make all those Jello shots?
She might have. Like I forget
Yeah,
because I was
someone
drunk.
made it was like 70 fucking Jello shots. I don't know if Elamar made them. Was it Elamar who made the Jello shots? AK was there. I don't know if she remembers who made.
Yeah,
the Jello
that's the thing. I keep glue Guns N' Roses. Vegas, you can get like hotel rooms for $40 a night and shit like that. So it's like that's my thing about.
Yeah, but I can hook y'all up with Will. We got spots for you.
That's true. That's definitely true.
You know what I mean? We got Airbnbs on lockdown over there with Will, who owns a shit ton of them. We can get you in there, especially people who don't mind like 5 bedrooms and you all want to just stay in and you're cool to stay in. That it cost you like $30 a piece. You know what I mean? Straight up, you know. So we could definitely get you there and everything else. I don't know if Elamar is here. I don't know who made the Jello shots, but there were like 75 Jello shots, which is
Was it? It wasn't Smokahontas, was it?
No, she ain't making shit. She Smoke ain't making nothing.
Except for joints.
That's it. She ain't making it. I don't know who made them, but there was like 75, almost like 100.
There was a lot. There was a fucking lot.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of Jello shots and everything. A shit ton of Jello shots in there. It was a lot of fucking Jello shots and everything. And I don't get down with Jello shots. You gotta use your tongue too much for it. But the ladies is all about that tongue shit. They was all in there with it. Like these ladies,
You got to loosen it up with your finger on the side and then just pop it in.
The ladies didn't use the finger; they were just using the tongue. They were just all the straight tonguing it down in there. No motherfucker. There were too many men in there for me to do the tongue shit. Too many. If it was all ladies, I would have did it, but too many men in there for me to do that. Welcome to Dairy. Yeah, sure thing. Next week we start the pregame show. It's next week, right? It comes out next week.
Yep. No. This week is the Tasks season finale, and next week is
next Sunday is
next Sunday is Dairy.
Yeah. So next week, pregame show for Dairy.
No spoilers for those watching Task. It's been a fun season, and it's interesting that we're going into the season finale because in some ways the season ended in the last episode. But I will say one thing: they have hinted at that this isn't the only season, and there might be some they might do a combo season of some sort with Mare in a later date. This is the same world. It's not like Mare in any way, Tony. I don't want you to, when you do go watch this eventually, don't expect Mare of Easttown. It's very different.
I'm gonna watch it. I just gonna binge the whole shit real fast.
Yeah, season finale is tomorrow night.
I've been watching Diplomat on Netflix. I like it. I watch that and I watch Slow Horses. I like Slow Horses.
I watched the first 2 episodes of season 2 of Matlock. I can't lie, I like it because I like Kathy Bates and there's some good-looking people on that show too. What else have I been watching? There's something else I've been checking out new episodes of. Let me think. What streaming services on? Oh, people should definitely check out the John Candy documentary on Amazon called I Like Me. It's a very good documentary on John Candy.
And I went back and I watched Serpent Queen. I never watched that. And I watched Serpent Queen. I loved it. I can't believe they ended it in 2 seasons. It was a really good show. I just got the Stars. It was like $1 for 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
$12 for the whole year. So I said, fuck it, I'll take it because they got that new Spartacus spinoff coming on, the House of Asher. So I said, let me do that because I know Spartacus is Elamar's favorite show of all time. So I said, let me just get this and see the House of Asher and see if we can cover it. It's $12 fucking bucks for the year. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do it for $12.
That's the other show I've been watching, and I can't believe I haven't brought it up yet. So the first few episodes of Tulsa King have been awesome. I like this show. What's amazing about it, and what's a good balance that this show seems to do better than a lot of shows, is it reminds me a little bit of Ray Donovan in this way. It manages to, but Ray even made it a little too serious. It balances comedy, like It's not quite analyze this, but it's not The Sopranos either. But it is serious. You do feel the stakes, but you know Sly's gonna win. But everyone else is fair game. Like his girl's dead this season, or one of his people are dead this season. Like he's fucking with people too close to the sun. It's almost a Sons of Anarchy thing. Like the Sons of Anarchy are gonna win. And it's funny the way they're going to do it, but some of the people around them might get hurt. But he's going to Sly's great. And how have you been enjoying Tulsa King after?
I love Tulsa King. I love every episode. I can't wait. It comes out Sunday. As soon as I wake up, I put it right on in the morning. And you're exactly right. Sly is going to win, but everyone else is fair game. And it's funny, but not too funny, but it's still serious. And the guy in there playing the mafia guy plays that better than he plays Rick Flag and fucking Peacemaker. I hate him in Peacemaker, Rick Flag, but he's good in this motherfucker.
He's great. He's great in this.
He's good in this shit. So I like him in this stuff and everything. As for Endgame, people ask about that.
I watched most of it before I had to cancel my Netflix.
I would say this. I should have did a video on it. The thing is this.
Jaxie boy.
When you come off of Dahmer and the other ones, I think what happens to these guys is that they say, all right, we have to do something different to make this stand out other than our other shows. So we just can't tell the basic story. We have to get fancy. Yeah, we're going to go and do this whole shit we learned in school, and we're going to go into his mind for this part and this, and it just didn't work.
Let's have some imagery, and so I think there was some good acting. I think
it's fucking. They basically do the Netflix show, the great Netflix show, at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
What is the name of the show now? I can't think of it right now. You know what I'm talking about? The crime scene.
Yeah, Mindhunters.
Mindhunters. They do Mindhunters in this at the end of the season. It's Mindhunters.
Pretty much.
They bring in the same. I thought it was the exact same cast members from the show of Mindhunters. I'm looking, I was like, is that the same? Like they bring in the mind. Like it. There's no need to do all that. Like that was just over the top for me. There was no need to do that.
There's some great acting in it, like especially Roseanne's sister. I was blank. Laurie Metcalf. She's an excellent actress, and Jaxie boy there did a great job. It definitely symbolized his relationship with Gemma, like in that situation. And I thought he really transformed himself. But I agree, Tony. They got too fancy dancy with it.
Yeah.
And by the end of the series, I was zoning out. I didn't tune in for Twin Peaks. I tuned in for more of the same of what they were doing with like Dahmer and stuff. And I thought it just got
tell the story and call it a day. You don't have to go into all this other shit and this other. I don't need to see all that. Just tell the story. Even if his voice sounded like that, it sounded a little Mickey Mouse. It didn't work for me with him saying that. It should have been better. And it's just something that, all right, Glue Guns, have a good night.
Thank you as always, Glue.
Thank you for rocking with us. It's so horrific that there's no, I wouldn't say sympathizing, because I don't think you can sympathize with Jeffrey Dahmer or any of these guys, but there's no throughway to any humanity that you can somehow grasp from this guy.
No, not at all.
There's nothing. He's a ghoul. He's a demon. And I don't give a fuck about this ghoul demon life and having sex with dead bodies. And when you have a real woman in your bed saying you're too warm for me to have sex with and making her sit in an ice bath so she feels more like a dead body. Like I just can't relate to it. And that is the problem. And then the flashbacks and all this of the Nazi lady, he's hallucinating and all this other stuff that, like, they just went overboard with it. Just tell the fucking story. And I think that's why I didn't appreciate it. I think this one going on Peacock with Wayne Gacy is much better. If you want to look at something like that and you want to see something, go watch Peacock. The Wayne Gacy one is 1,000 times better. 1,000 times better. Without a doubt, the Wayne Gacy one is 1,000 times better.
Yeah, I kind of zoned out with it too because it just got too surreal in a story I didn't want to become surreal in that way. So I agree with pretty much everything you said.
Yeah, it's just, and that's just, it just didn't work for me there and everything else. But you know, I didn't think that the acting and everything else was
Yeah,
great.
that was great. Laurie Metcalf especially was really good.
Yeah, and you get to see a hairy ass bush laying on the table. That's the lady from Roseanne, right?
Yes, Laurie Metcalf.
The sister and stuff.
Jackie.
The sister from Roseanne.
Jackie.
Yeah. You know, listen. I thought he wanted to fuck his mother. I think she was scared when she was throat that he was gonna try to fuck her.
Oh, he definitely wanted to, right? That was the vibe I got too. I'm with you, Brandy. I started, but I couldn't finish. Tony, I know you don't really. Are you following? Like, did you watch Survivor this season at all?
I am watching Survivor.
Did you the idiot? Like, you notice how they didn't show what he did before he got bit by the snake? You see the big fucking idiot get bit by the snake and shit.
Yeah, they don't show him fucking with the snake.
No, they're like, the snake doesn't really fuck with people. They show, if you see the book where they write like snake doesn't fuck with people and everyone in the water. He was like kicking. He's probably big dumb shithead was probably,
kicking towards it, pushing, splashing water on it, or doing something stupid to get himself. But I think what happens there is that they said in Survivor 50. That there's two people from this Survivor that are.
Yeah, you think he? I know one is that Riz God guy.
It's
guy.
Riz
God.
I think it's going to be him because he got kicked up because of that, and
that would make sense.
So that's what I think it's going
to. But
be.
One, I'm pretty sure is Riz God. Sorry, we'll lose people talk about Survivor, but whatever. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. We're over 3 hours. We're gonna get off this motherfucker in a second. It's 12 o'clock at night. Been on here for 3 hours. Just chatting it up with y'all and everything else and just having a good time and all that good stuff. And so I really do appreciate everybody coming out here and stuff and all that. But I do got to wake up in the morning to watch football in London at 9 o'clock. Anyway, we finally got one. Here we go. From Big No Love, Tony and Phil. Have you watched Those About to Die on Peacock? It stars Ian Ronan, the boy who played Ramsey Bolton in the main role. Also, did you see Twist? So, if that is the Gladiator, is that the one with the Gladiator show where they do the chariot races and stuff, and he's like the one who does the chariot races? Is that show? If it's that show, and that's what it is, and yes, I did watch that, and I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I thought they lost me a little bit by the end, but it was good, and I thought it had potential, and it could have been much more, and it should have been much more than what it was. But I like the whole thing about the chariot races and the bookies and all that. I thought they did a really good job with that. Twisted Metal 2, I did not watch. It was like that.
And AK asks, would you be down for writing a short spooky story for the Halloween season?
This in general, yes, I could definitely write one. No problem. I
want to do a Christmas audio play.
Audio play,
like that Frasier episode where they just do like sort of like an audio like a Christmas tale.
Right.
Like,
yeah, we can definitely
like
do
a radio
like
play.
An old school race or a radio show.
Yeah, I got to talk to the Walking David. Without him, it doesn't matter. We need a real actor.
Yeah, we'll get Walking David. We can get.
Oh, by the way, I got to get the name of it before. I got to get the name of it before we go, or I'll talk about it in the next stream. But the Walking David is on in a romantic comedy movie on Apple Plus and on Amazon. You can check it out. I forget the name of it, but I'll share it next time, so you can definitely check.
I know I shared it on Facebook, but I don't remember the name. I know I shared it on that when he got
it's a funny little movie. Funny movie.
You watch it?
Yeah, I got a chance to check it out. It's good. It's a romantic comedy kind of movie. It's definitely a good movie.
The song for the movie is Anaconda. Anaconda by Nicki Minaj and stuff like that. Let's hope he does have major success, so we have someone in the industry who he actually.
Oh yeah,
knows.
I know. I like I want him to have success just so I can get a part in one of his movies one day. Fuck that.
And it's because he's one of us, man. He's
Yeah,
one
and
of us.
he's a good dude and he's a talented dude. So
He's one of us, man. He's one of us. And anytime and one of us make it, it's always a good thing to see one of us make it. All right, my people, let me get up out of here. Thank y'all for rocking with it. We'll see you, no doubt, on Sunday at 7 p.m. It starts at 9, I would think.
something like
So
that.
we'll
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do about 2 hours for Dairy.
Yeah.
We'll do
7
2 hours,
7:30, 7 o'clock, whatever.
7:30. We'll do a 7:30 next Sunday. I'll set it up early. And I don't usually set it up like the time. I'll set it up tomorrow to let you know we're doing that. We'll be here for that. We're gonna get into that. We'll
Yeah,
see
East
how
Coast time. East Coast time, John Haymaker.
it'll be East Coast time. We'll set up and get ready to watch that, and hopefully it lives up to expectations. And we'll talk about all those expectations that we have for this show. And I'll tell you how I really feel about the It movie and everything else, because it's really got a.
Which one? Like, there's 2 of them now.
It's got a Nightmare on Elm Street this show in order for it to be good. I wasn't a big fan of the It movies. I thought it was all right. So it's really got to do something.
Did you see the Shawshank bus in the trailer for Shawshank?
Yeah, I did see that, and I did like seeing the Shawshank bus in there. We'll talk about all that, all the thing. Thank y'all for rocking with us. We truly appreciate it. If you like the way we do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is.